What's up? Welcome to today's live stream. It's August 20th. Yeah, it's August 20th. No real agenda today, as usual, but we'll see what happens. Give me a moment as I readjust my audio levels. I was explaining some things to someone on my team last night, and I changed settings. You should never do that. So I changed the settings, and I must have accidentally saved it, so I'm going back and fixing things. So far it looks like I'm mostly okay. Maybe just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good now. All right, so let me get things. All right, cool. Yeah, so welcome. I actually am going to have Pratik. He's joining me again. We're actually going to cover some audio related stuff pretty quickly because he had some comments about his audio, and I was like, it's fine, but I listened back on my monitor, so I was like, we can do a little bit of something. We can make some tweaks. That's what we like doing, right? Making tweaks. All right, so give me a moment as I get things set up so that I can bring him in. So just give me one moment. All right, so I need to set up a Zoom thing, but I'm first going to send him a link. Or actually, maybe we don't. Yeah, we're going to need to use Zoom because we may need to share his screen today. All right. Oh, sent it to the wrong person. Shit. Oh gosh, how do you unsend a message? Oh, there we are. Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll have him joining in soon. I'm gonna go on ahead and start up a Zoom session as well so that we can get screen sharing and all that kind of stuff working all nice like. All right, we got the Zoom session going. Let me put this on another screen. All right. Oh, you're here. Oh wow, that was fast. Give me a moment. Let me add you. Let me assign you as guest one, and we're gonna bring you up. What's up? Are you? Oh wait. I gotta send you the Zoom link too. That's how we were doing audio. My bad. Give me a second. Let me do that. Copy link. I'm gonna send this to you via text as well. Yeah. I see you. My bad. I forgot that we were using Zoom for audio. Yeah, and you don't need to worry about turning on your camera. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. All right, perfect.
I don't hear your audio.
You don't hear my audio?
Yeah.
Oh wait, okay, my bad.
Coming through...
Hold on, there you are. You should hear me now. All
right, my bad. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, all right, cool. I think we're good. I set up some things differently last night. Okay. Things that you shouldn't do. Give me a moment. Let me put my live preview somewhere else.
You're a brave man. I'm like so afraid to touch my settings now that things are like up and running.
Man, I touch my settings almost every day, except normally I don't like. I was doing extreme changes yesterday. I was going over just like audio or vocal paths, like vocal chain. With Yanni last night, and I went pretty deep actually. I may have scared him away.
Oh boy!
Like, I saw it in his face. I was like, oh okay, I'll stop here. It's a lot. I know.
Was that live streamed anywhere?
No, it wasn't live streamed.
Okay.
It was, yeah. I thought about live streaming it, but then I was like, I don't know. I always struggle with this because I never think anyone cares about anything that I do. So I'm just like.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of audio expertise and knowledge, so I'm sure it could be like Yanni was finding it valuable. So
well yeah, so it was mostly in response to by the way, Yanni started a new YouTube channel, and like I was going over like Final Cut stuff, just a little bit of how to use Final Cut and some tips and tricks, and I showed him the voice isolation, and I explained to him how like I do all of this live because I have my UAD Apollo here, where I have all these plugins that allow me to do these things. And then I was saying, you can accomplish this in your videos but it's going to be different. But I was showing them how all of this stuff kind of works, like for real, so that it's not just, oh, here's the slider. Like now you have an understanding of what's actually happening in the background. And then we went over EQ, and then turns out, yeah, EQ is very technical. And like I was getting into phase shifting, and I was like, we got to worry about phase shifting, like and like Q factor and all this kind of stuff. And we looked at some physics things to kind of show, because I like to do visualizations. And yeah, anyway.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I remember you fired up Ableton last time we were talking, and we were like making waveforms and stuff. Like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we did a little bit of that too. We even got into things such as saturation, because I was explaining the difference between distortion and saturation, how technically they're the same thing, except one is considered musical, and we're adding even harmonics, or we can add odd harmonics, whereas distortion is just like clipping, or like it's just not the signal that you gave it. You warped it in some way, and you've called distortions.
So right now when I'm hearing you, I am hearing a little bit of distortion or clipping.
Yes.
Like is that intentional? Like there's a little bit.
So you're not hearing clipping, you're hearing saturation. And yes, the reason why you're hearing that is because I am using an emulation of something called the Manley Vox box. And yeah, I guess we're going to talk about audio for a little bit. So I'll share my screen and I can pull up things so that it's not just all this abstraction. And we're going to talk about virtual chain too.
I was just playing around with the audio, the original sound for musicians on Zoom, and I think when I was doing the playback, I heard my voice get better. So tell me if you notice anything. So this is me talking right now with it off, and now this is me talking with it on.
Yeah, I can hear a difference. So what's happening is it's adjusting your gain. It's doing auto gain. Yeah. Typically, you do want to do that. What you're hearing right now with me, you're hearing it with it off. Like this musician move. Yeah, and if I turn it on, you'll understand why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Say something?
All right, I'm saying something.
That sounds way better, but I also hear an echo.
Exactly.
Of my own voice.
That's because that's what's going to happen. It's not doing any processing. So if we are routing audio, which in my case it is, I have to turn on Zoom audio so that it can like remove the other like sounds, which is your voice, because your voice is being piped into my input, which is also the same output that Zoom is listening to.
Whoa.
It sounds weird, but it's not that
do
weird.
You hear an echo when I talk?
No. Even when I have musicians,
is like on your side based on how you have things configured.
Yeah. So like it'll always sound fine with me, but to other people, because they're hearing what I hear, they're going to hear it themselves because I hear you too.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So like if you're doing stuff like what we're doing, if you have guests on, you would have to turn off musician mode. And yeah. Oh shit. Oh gosh. Who is this calling me? God damn it. I forgot that I had a appointment for my dog, and that's who that is. I just realized.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me put myself on focus mode because they're gonna call me back. We'll put for an hour at least. All right, let me share my screen with you here, and then I'll also share my screen on the stream.
Okay.
I need to set up my stream deck to do this because there used to be a shortcut to do it, and now it's not. It used to be Command-Shift-S for Zoom to share your screen.
Oh, nice.
All right, so you should be able to see my screen now, and the stream should also be able to see my screen, which is just black. And yeah. All right. Let's go to this Manley Vox box so that it's not just like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Manley Vox box. All right. This device here. I'm currently emulating this. This has this is a tube preamp. So typically tube analog gear, they produce, so they saturate as you add a lot of gain. So I've increased the amount of gain so that I can get saturation, which builds presence in my voice.
It does, but if I'm honest, it doesn't sound that good.
Really?
Because I think it's not the. I like the bass part, but I don't like the clipping. There's like a.
I'm wondering if you're hearing clipping. I wonder if you're hearing something different from me.
Like it sounds compressed, a little too compressed. I feel like you lost the range
All right. How about this? I did increase compression. I'm gonna do this. All right. So now I want to add compression though. I need a little bit of compression because if I talk louder, I don't want it to clip. Okay. So now.
That's sounding a bit better, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it sounds now it's harder to hear. So I guess what I can do is I can just turn up the volume like that a little bit. Now we're gonna be in danger of clipping. So that's what I'm like. Clipping is the enemy. You don't want to clip.
Yeah.
Saturation is fine, whatever. In fact, I actually like saturation. It's when you listen to music, most of the time the voice is saturated, which is why it sounds like really present and powerful, whatever. And yeah. Anyways, we gotta go over EQ for you.
Okay.
So, how do you EQ? Or like, what do you explain to me what you're working with, and I can go and look it up here.
Yeah, so I got a Rodecaster Pro.
A Rodecaster Pro. Okay, so let's look that up. Does it have software as well on your that you could control it from your computer?
No. It has like a little screen on it, and it has like some things I can modify directly on there.
Okay. All right. Well, give me a second as I go to your user guide.
Okay.
Required only. Go away.
You know, I was traveling in Europe and I noticed like that the cookie stuff isn't as annoying there.
The cookie?
Like the cookie pop-ups that come up on the website.
Yeah.
Like I noticed in the US, you have to sometimes click through a couple times to do deny all. But in Europe, they would have as a first class button like reject all or deny all. And it was just so much easier to exit out of it.
Well, I only experienced this issue on this browser. So I migrated from Firefox, where I had the extension I don't care about cookies, as well as this other extension which automatically deleted all cookies when I ended my session. That's not available in Chromium based browsers for, I'm sure, reasons, Google reasons. So yeah, I mean, because Arc doesn't allow me to do that, unfortunately. But
gotcha,
yeah, and I did consider just ditching Arc because it is Chromium based and I don't like DevTools in Chromium browsers. But all the other things are so nice where I'm just like, I'll tolerate it, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know, I may go back, to be honest. All right, I thought that this would give me a PDF. Why is this showing me like this? This is not helpful.
If you click on downloads at the top, right, wait, what page are you on?
I'm on the Rodecaster Pro user guide and support.
Oh, user guide, I see. Here, let me send you. Oh, there is a companion app for Mac. Interesting.
Okay, well, actually, we have. So I was looking to see like what type of EQ, like, so that while I'm explaining things, it's based off of what you have.
Yeah.
And it seems like, there is a companion app. You can do it on your computer. Is it? Are you plugged into your computer? Is it like plugged in via USB or something? I imagine it is.
Let me double check. It's been a while. I'm definitely connected via XLR. Let me check.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a micro USB connection.
Okay. Go ahead and try to download the companion app. If it tells you need to restart, just cancel. Don't do it.
Okay, let me install that right now. It's going.
It kind of sucks that they don't have a PDF. Like it. I guess they expect everyone to have internet connection at all times if they need to figure out how to do something. Maybe that's what's happening here.
I mean, I see a quick start guide. That's a PDF. I'm trying to see if there's like an actual manual. Logic Pro guide, Pro Tools guide. Rodecaster Pro manual. Let's see if
I will say that if this is the direction that we're going as a society where you can't even get manuals, I'm not looking forward to the future.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I would expect.
Well, now I know I will never buy a Rode product again. Like Rode products. It's like now I know they will never be considered. I hope someone from Rode sees this. It's like so that they understand that there are a class of people who will never use your product if you don't provide a manual. Like it's kind of
good to provide that feedback. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's like a HTML page. So here, this looks more like a manual, but it's still a website. But I put it on Zoom.
Oh, you shared it in Zoom? Okay.
Yeah, that second link.
This is what I was looking at.
Oh, you were already there.
Yeah. Well, I see that you have a high pass filter and a noise gate. I wonder if these are the only things that you have, or do they want me to watch this video, which won't happen. I'm not watching the video. Okay, you have an exciter and a big bottom. Okay, that's yeah. So it seems like you don't have much control over EQ. That's what I was expecting. So maybe you have something where you can like a low pass, like a shelf. Let me see. Maybe it'll be on your microphone thing channel. Let's see here. Microphone level audio processing. Level settings. Okay, yeah. So you only have these things. You don't have access to an EQ.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. But I feel like Rodecaster Pro EQ. I think I saw something where those are levels for individual. Yeah, I have very basic stuff. Like I have a noise gate, high pass filter, de-esser, compressor.
Well, to be fair, like it sounds fine. Like it sounds fine, I think. I think this, turn on your high pass filter.
Turn on my high pass?
Yeah. Because what I noticed is that there was a lot of boominess, and I did run it through like a, what do you call the things? I can't even think of the name of the thing. A spectrograph, like doing spectral analysis, and there was a lot of energy below like 70, 80 hertz, and there doesn't need to be, because like the human voice doesn't really.
Yeah.
Doesn't really
so my high pass is on right now. It's on 60 hertz.
Turn it to 80.
Turn it to 80.
Yeah. Or if you can. I don't know if you can.
Okay, now it's on 80.
Okay. All right. And it's your
so that basically cuts off low frequencies or high frequencies?
Low frequencies. So high pass, the way that I think about it is the high shell pass.
The high shell pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're the opposite for a low pass filter, the low shell pass.
Got it. So everything under 80 hertz is getting cut off?
Yes. But this is kind of what I was going over with Yanni. It's not like just anything at 80 or under is cut off. That's not how it works. It's typically octaves per decibel, like some number of octaves per decibel.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it smooths it out. It's like it falls off.
Yeah, it's a fall off, yes. But it's also, because of physics, it's impossible to remove just a frequency. You have to remove, like, it's always frequencies, just to the nature of how this stuff works.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And do you have your aural exciter on by any chance?
Okay, let me check that. And I'll also send you this other image on Zoom.
Okay.
From the companion app, I see some more fine-tuned controls. Maybe does that look like a EQ kind of thing?
Why can't I zoom? Okay. That's a compressor.
Oh, it's a compressor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it says compressor. Okay. All right. So you were saying now to do what?
Turn on your aural. Do you have your aural exciter on? It says APHEX, APHEX.
Okay, let me check. Okay, now it's on.
Okay. What about
Does
big
that-
bottom?
I feel like that sounds a little different.
It does.
Yeah, because I can hear my own voice back too.
Does it sound
But it
better
does-
to you?
It sounds sharper. Like I hear a background white noise. That's like a little bit louder than it was before. But it does sound more crisp, I want to say.
That's saturation, just a file.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like 3 knobs that I can mess around with for oral exciter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like-
What are they then?
Tune, harmonics, and mix.
This is definitely saturation, harmonics. Definitely
Yeah.
saturation. What's your mix at?
My mix is 50.
Okay, so it's doing parallel processing. Okay, so what you could do is like, if it's annoying to you, I imagine that your headphones, you are likely able to hear more highs. You know what? Let me put on my other headphones. These are for having fun listening to music. Give me a second.
Okay, sure.
All right, I'm gonna ask you to say some things, and I'm gonna listen to what it sounds like.
Okay, this is me talking. This is me saying some stuff.
All right, turn it down to about 10.
To turn the
Your mix.
mix.
Yeah.
Okay, so that got rid of the staticky noise I was hearing.
It's still there. It's just you're only mixing in a little bit, like a little bit of it. So
Oh, so mix is just that whole effect, how much of that I put back in?
yeah. That's why I was saying, like, the
Oh.
fact that it has that, like, it's doing parallel processing. So what it means is it's going to take your dry signal, and then it's going to run that through the processing, and then the output of that you can then mix back into your dry signal, so you get like
Okay.
yeah,
I feel like I need a little bit more. I don't know.
maybe put as
Let
much as
me
you want.
play.
Yeah. So basically, like, you dial it into wherever you feel like it's decent. I can hear more highs with these headphones than,
Okay.
but I hear more bass, and I like to hear bass. So I was wearing my the
Got
LCDs.
it. I love bass too. This is at like 20, 30. It was at 30 before, right?
I think you said it was at 50.
Oh, it was at 50.
Yeah, I
right.
think you said it was at 50. All right.
50 is the default.
Are you satisfied with how you're sounding now? Is it better for you?
I think so, yeah. I
Okay.
think. It was really obvious at first, but because I toned it down, I know what it's doing now because I heard it at such an exaggerated level. But I think I like this.
Well, just, you keep tweaking it, right? Like, it's your sound is what I like to tell people. It's your sound.
Yeah.
You have to
So they
like
also
it.
have a setting called Big Bottom, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
for extra punch and depth to the bass frequencies. Is that kind of like what you were trying to do with the saturation?
No, saturation is about adding harmonics, and harmonics are always going to happen at the root frequency and then at some interval above that root frequency. So it's always going to go toward the higher frequencies. Whereas this bass boost is likely going to be, my assumption is that it's a low pass filter, but it has a Q factor that's relatively narrow, which is going to cause the filter to go above the zero threshold. So it's going to be a slight boost at like maybe 100 to 125 hertz, which is like that punchy feeling. I don't know this to be sure though. Maybe let's see if this explains what the hell Big Bottom is. I don't like marketing, to be honest.
You don't like what?
I don't like marketing where it's just like, oh, here's this name. Like, what the hell? What is this?
Yeah. This is made for like the not pro consumer, but just like, I guess, enthusiast. But let me turn on the Big Bottom and just see what it does.
Okay. Oh, it's exactly what it is. Okay, I'm looking at the image, and just by looking at the parameters, I can get an idea of what they're doing. So the tune is likely where the cutoff is, the cutoff frequency hold on, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see the road.
All right, let's do this. I will open up Final Cut Pro because they have I could use the Logic EQ without having my sound card like go in and out. I don't know why Logic does that, to be honest.
Oh, okay. By the way, this is with the Big Bottom on.
Yeah, keep it on. Yeah, I know what that's doing.
It sounds good. Yeah.
I do it manually.
It sounds very smoothed out, I would say.
Where is EQ? Here we are. All right, so we'll throw in a channel EQ onto here. And we're only doing this just so that we can look at what's happening. We want to be able to see this. All right, so what's likely happening is you have your 80 hertz, which is I think where you said it. And remember how I was saying that it's per octave. Each one of these bars is an octave, by the way. So it's saying it's going to be 24 decibels per octave. As I lower it, you see that the line gets flatter, and if I raise it, it gets steeper, right? And then the other part is, I'm gonna put this back at 24. It's a Q factor. You see what's happening? As I increase it, it's overshooting that zero line, and it's causing a boost right after the cut.
Oh.
And these frequencies here, it's like the punchy frequencies.
So that's like out of contrast almost? Maybe?
To some extent, yes. To some extent. The way I like to look at it is, or think about it, is that it's energy. Like, these waves, is literally energy. So if you want to increase energy in one place, you may want to decrease energy in another place.
Oh, so you're displacing it.
Yeah, that's how I think about it. That's not necessarily how this really works, but it tends to be balanced when you do things like this. And this is where a lot of people hear bass, because let's be honest, most people aren't using headphones or speakers that can actually get into the sub ranges that well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so on the note of your big whatever thing, it's likely doing this, but it's also likely doing saturation as well. And the reason why I think that is because of this drive right here. So drive is just like, it's literally input. Really, you're increasing the input to cause more saturation to occur.
Okay.
Which is similar to what I was doing, where you're like, oh, it sounds kind of raspy or whatever. That's what I was doing. I was increasing my drive to get a more saturated sound. And
I used to play electric guitar for a bit, and I know drive would, for distortion, it would crank up.
Yes.
The distortion.
Yes, and I imagine you would crank it because you like it. It seems like
very nice.
Yeah, and it's like when you start playing with saturation, you can overdo it, and some people won't like it, but it's like, they'll learn to like it. That's how.
Let me try just really quick. I want to experiment. I'm going to crank up drive to the max just to see what.
Yeah, do it.
All right, so this is going from 60 to 100.
Okay, it's very yours is very mild.
Yeah, I think they constrain me so I don't do anything too crazy. I feel like I like this. I'm not sure. I feel like it sounds a little richer and deeper.
All right, so because you've added bottom end, you're going to want to also add a little bit of top end. So for your aural exciter, you see you have a tune here. What is your tune set at?
Three six three one.
3631. Oh, the default. Okay.
The default, yeah.
Put it to 4K.
There we go.
All right, that sounds a little bit
4K.
better.
That sounds better. Okay.
A little bit. It's the mix is probably still low. Also, if you want to have less saturation, I imagine that it's going to be that harmonics. So if you were to boost the mix, if you want to maintain a balance, you likely want to remove harmonics so that it's not too much.
Remove the harmonics.
Yeah. So if it's probably at 60. So what happens if you put it to 30 and you increase your mix by double? What happens?
Okay, so now my harmonics is, I think, 60 and 30, and my mix is at 55 or 60.
Okay. How does that sound to you?
It sounds more full. I do hear that staticky noise back again because I guess the mix is higher. And maybe, I don't know, it sounds nice though. Let me I want to just I'm going to go on mute real quick.
Yeah.
Because I want to on Zoom do the test mic and just hear it come back to me.
All right. Yeah. Go for it.
One second. Wow. So it does sound very different from before. I think I like it.
Okay.
It's easier to hear my voice for sure. I feel like before there was a little bit too much bass.
Well, there was that's why like these mics have they're a little muddy, to be honest. And I EQ mine like crazy to make it like it's funny because like people buy this mic for the sound characteristics, so I'm just like, I don't necessarily like it that much. I prefer the rejection. Like that's what I got this mic for. It rejects noises.
You gotta speak right into it. It doesn't pick up much of anything else.
Yeah. And my other mics are incredibly sensitive. So what I'm gonna ask you to do, I can hear myself. Are your headphones, are they open back?
They are open back.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay. I'm like, I can hear myself.
Wow, good ear.
Oh, well, yeah. Turn your mix down to like 45.
Okay. All right, there we are.
All right. So I asked you to do that because like I could also hear it, and just turning it down a little bit is like you want to get right to that point where you can hear it, and then maybe back off. Yeah. Well, it's not really. Yeah, we can call it static. Yeah. Yeah. Higher frequencies, they have that sound. That's kind of what they sound like.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, how you doing today? What's you good?
Doing good. Doing good. Just I can hear my voice now. It sounds a lot better. I feel like
he's like proud. He's like, man, like I'm hey, feel free to talk, listen. You can talk more.
Like, fall in love with my own voice here. But it's just so nice because like sometimes you buy all this equipment and you're not using it to its full potential. So it's just nice to be able to actually get value and explore the full capability of what something can do.
Man, watch,
it's like I was talking about my iPad and I was just using it to watch YouTube videos, right? So
I think you're gonna fall in love with like audio is really fun. Like audio, photography, videography, like all of these things, because they're all really technical. And if you really love computing, you start to understand that like this is computing.
My fear though is I'll become very picky, and I'm already starting to. Like when you start developing good taste and identifying like what's actually really good, then you hear other stuff and it just annoys you.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it's not wrong with being picky. But I mean, over time, like I'm more of a, I can let things go now, where it's just like, yeah, okay. It doesn't have to like, do I get the point? Like, do I get what I'm supposed to receive from it? Yeah, okay. Like it doesn't need to be that great.
Yeah. Because I use Sound Source on my Mac to like play with like the frequencies a little bit for Spotify. And I got it sounding so nice that if I'm on my phone and I play Spotify now, it just annoys me. But
you're on an iPhone, right? Yeah, you're on an iPhone. Don't you? Do you have like the AirPod Pros or AirPod Maxes?
I have I don't have the Pros, but I have like. Are they worth it? Like you think?
Yes.
Do they actually do much? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, in fact, you should get the three. Like, space. Like, the difference of listening to Spotify on my computer versus on my phone, night and day difference.
Yeah.
It's not even like, I don't even understand. Even with the same headphones, like I don't understand why it sounds so different. I actually do, but like it's just like how come Apple doesn't like have the same stuff in my Mac Studio that costs 3 or 4 times more? That's what I don't understand. It's the spatial audio stuff, like, and it could be the Spotify app just doesn't do it on Mac.
Okay.
Yeah. So typically, I don't go that far. I don't EQ music that others have. Like, cause I understand what mixing engineers do. I understand what mastering engineers do. I'm not going to go and then change anything. Although Spotify is doing it, they actually have here. Let me pull this up. So Spotify has their like mastering or something like that. So they normalize all audio to like -4 or no, is it 14 dB LUFS? I don't know. They're doing something where essentially, they basically make your music sound like trash. That's what Spotify does, and you can't undo it. So
wow.
Yeah, and it's done automatically. So they tell you what you should master your audio to because they're doing some stuff to your audio. So you have to take that into account, and
Oh, I do appreciate when they normalize volume, so it's not like some songs are just super loud and others are not.
I absolutely hate it. Here's why.
Okay.
Some music have a lot more dynamic range than other music, and if you normalize it, you essentially are removing that. So let's say, for instance, you're listening to something that's like classical music. I like the quiet part should be quiet because that's the emotion that the composer was trying to convey to you, right?
Okay.
Like I don't like someone saying, you know what, everyone likes their music loud, so we're just gonna make it loud. It's like, no, like the person who created this, I want what they were after, not what you think that people want to hear.
That's true. Yeah, it messes with, as long as like people respect and know what they're doing with their music when they're putting it out, then I think, yeah. But when you have like amateurs putting up music on Spotify, sometimes they're just like blast the volume on a song and it'll blow your ears out. And it's good for that kind of stuff. But I do agree, like for these, great classic albums or something from a fancy studio, they're probably a little bit smarter about it.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's part of it. I mean, that is part of an issue. But that's why I have this really nice interface here where it's like I love touching this knob and turning the volume up and down. It's so satisfying. It's well damped.
Power.
Yeah, it's well damped. It has like weight. It has inertia. It's fucking dope.
Ooh, that's nice.
Like I'm over here turning it up and down now just because I can.
So like they do that with ads on TVs. I think like they crank up the volume when ads come on. But I think people started using that to. Like now you can set up a filter or trigger to detect when the volume's going above the threshold, and now you can figure out that ads are playing, and then people I think were using that to like put something in so they could block out ads when like the TV was playing. So it was like a cat and mouse game between the advertisers and like consumers.
Yeah, that's one area like TV. Back when I used to watch it, this was like I haven't really watched TV in a decade. So it's been a while, but when I did used to watch it, I do remember that like you'll be watching a show or a movie, and then all of a sudden, like the commercials are triple the volume of the thing. You have to like go and run and turn the TV down. So I definitely get that.
Yeah.
Now but maybe
cord-free life, I do not miss it.
Man, it's not. I don't even like at this point. Most of the content that I consume is made by regularly just a person or myself. It's that simple. It's just like, I don't know, like if I had to watch anything, I'd rather watch myself. And it's not just me being narcissistic. It's just like most of what I watch doesn't provide me any value. So if I'm not going to get value, I may as well just watch myself.
That's great, man. I respect that.
Yeah. Well, I had some things that I had planned. And I just wanted to get your thoughts. It's kind of like product related, and it's kind of related to this content thing. So maybe this could be like a, I don't know. Let's just game plan. Let me turn off that on the stream.
Sure.
So, I've been doing the stream stuff for a while, and I'm noticing that there's a lot of opportunity in the content space. You've worked at a tech company, and I imagine you had stuff like chat ops. Did y'all have chat ops? Maybe I shouldn't have.
Chat ops.
Yeah, it's a thing we had at GitHub.
Tell me more. Like,
okay, so
high level, what is that?
At a high level, is controlling your deployment process, getting release, like being able to set up a release, getting like information on a release from within Slack, so you can trigger, a deployment from Slack, or you can stage a release to a specific like server, like staging or production, from Slack. Or if something is happening, like say for instance some incident happens, you get notifications in Slack and you get links to where you can go to wherever the thing is happening. So it's just, you are pulling all these places to like all these things together, and you're using Slack as an interface. So a SLI, a Slack,
Oh,
like
okay.
instead of a
Okay.
CLI, you're using Slack to
Got
accomplish this.
So all of your DevOps commands, instructions, whatever, are triggerable through like a chat interface.
Yes, and more than that, we also get alerts through the
Got
chat interface.
Yes.
And the idea is that if that's where we're working and communicating, it makes a lot of sense to have it there.
Got it.
In fact, here I can give you an example of this for a project. I'm no longer running it, so you're not going to see much. I'll share my screen. Let's open up Slack. I got to make sure I go to another channel that, all right, here we go.
And what are the benefits of this? Is it one, like you're already spending time in a tool, so you're kind of repurposing that, and two, you're also doing things in the open. So I guess like if there's like a fire that I have to put out, and I see a senior engineer in our Slack thread like interfacing and working through it, as a junior I can learn from like his approach, how he's doing it, and I guess he's not just interfacing one-on-one with a tool, but in a public forum.
It's that, but it's making it visible, which I think is very important. Like,
Yes.
you don't fix what you don't see. And if you do need to fix something, just think about it. Like, let's say you have an issue and it happens on Datadog. Well, sure, everyone can go and say, I'm gonna go to Datadog and I'm gonna find this particular trace and like do the thing. But wouldn't it be easier if it was just in Slack and someone could just click a link?
Yeah.
And more than that, like it's now in one place, so you can also search. You can have a conversation around it. You're gonna have a conversation anyways.
Got it.
And
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
it be
think
dope?
that works well. The only time I think it sometimes backfires is if it's too spammy. So I've seen that sometimes where like they have a service and it's just messaging Slack like once a day, but there's nothing meaningful in it. Like it's not an alert, it's just like a notification.
Well,
I think alerts
for
are
that,
really
that's
useful.
why I have these things called ops channels. That's what this is. So
Okay.
post-apply ops, which is like for this one, I think this is, I don't remember what this one is for, but it keeps track of all of the releases that was happening. Let me go to another one. I have a few of these API ops. Yeah, so here's like, I get all my PRs. I can do my releases here. I get information if a release fails, like a deployment fails. Because a release on GitHub is different from a deployment, right? So like maybe I want to create the release after the deployment actually succeeds, but I also want to know if something fails. Otherwise, like I'm having to like go and look on GitHub and wait for things when like, do I really need to do that? If the release could take 5, 6, 7 minutes, or let's say tests are failing, I would rather just see that here. I'm more likely to do something about it if I get a message here, test failing, oh, I can click this thing and it just takes me to the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, that to
And
me,
you
that's
can like, you can add a comment to it, you can tag a teammate, like you
Yes.
can do all the social stuff too right on there.
and
That's awesome.
also more than that, you can also start Zoom from within the thing. So now you have shared context. It's not just a lot of things about like, cause I used to work like, well, I guess I still do work remote, but it's different. Like I'm strongly in the remote mindset where it's just like context is key. If there's no context, I mean, it's going to be hard. Like, so it's like, if you can start conversations around issues where all the context is, it makes a lot of sense to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not just about starting conversations there. It's like, maybe you can create a deployment there. And it's within the context of all of the other things that are happening. And my mindset is that you're going to talk about these things anyway. Hopefully, I don't know. I assume I talk about things like this, so I assume others will. So it makes sense to do it in the tool where you're already at, instead of having, you have your CLI, which, has different experiences. Not everybody has it set up the same. You have these web UIs, you have these GUIs, and it's just like, these are 3 different things, and these are 3 different ways of thinking that you have to, think about. If you do it within Slack, you can build these really cool workflows where it's like, yeah, you can do they were dot commands for us. So like we would do like dot release, and then we could specify like where, what project, that kind of thing. And when you do this, like we had a Slack bot called HuBot, where it would then perform some type of actions, but it could also create UI within Slack.
Whoa.
Because you could do UI in Slack, just FYI.
You could? Okay.
Yeah,
It's been a while since I've used. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to take all of that and apply it to what I'm doing here. So here's the ideal. I have my streams where I start these, but it's kind of hard to manage. Like, because I'm streaming to multiple platforms. Just being able to get like a link to, hey, here's my stream. Here's the stream manager where I can go and manage, stream details for all of the places that I'm streaming at. That would be kind of cool to me. But more than that is when the VOD goes out, I would like to be able to like just click from within Slack and be able to edit, like, go to the thing to edit my description. But I was thinking about this last night about markers, because we were having a conversation and I was like, I would like to be able to, split this video up into pieces. And at the moment, like, fortunately I have someone who's helping me with it. He went back and watched it manually and came up with sections, right? Wow. But I was like, how dope would it be if I can create sections live, and then those, like, I assume there's going to be some type of file. I don't know how this is going to work, but somehow within Slack, I can then get that same information in Slack, and it'll tell me, hey, these are the videos, and it can pull in all of the things that we talked about, because I can title these markers, and it'll generate the video description for me. I can pass all of my notes into something like OpenAI and say, summarize this into a title, or summarize this as a description, and use this template. Here's the music that was playing. So like, I have this music that's playing. I would also want that. So I have the timestamps and when the music is playing. I can link to the artist, and then it automatically pulls the license, because I have the license for all of these. So I don't have to, I don't do it because it's tedious, it's too much work, but I would like to do that. And I'm thinking that it'll be really cool to be able to trigger all of this from within Slack. But
I mean, that sounds like a ops dream. Like, that sounds the way you've spelled it out.
Content ops? Is that it? Is this a new
content ops? Wow, I think you're onto something there. Yeah. So I think, it'd be cool if on like your stream deck, you had a button, and say like, while you're on stream, you're like, oh my God, that would make a really nice short or something. You can just hit that button and it'll put a marker.
Yes. I have something like that. Let me test it right quick. Let me see if it works. It works. Hold on. Wait. All right, hold on.
I see something pop in your dock. Is that what?
Yeah. So it's working. Okay. It's asking me to give a title. So we'll just say content ops. So this is how we iterate, right? Where it's just like, we'll do the thing. I'll see what happens. Yeah. And figure out if there's a way I can like do something with that information. And something else I saw someone do is, when you hit that button, they'll have something pop up on the screen. So that's a visual flag. So then you can kind of like, when you go through a video, you can be like, all right, when did I have a green box in the right-hand corner? And that way, you don't have to do the time syncing as much, because it's baked into the stream, into the video. You'll have like a little notification, and then you can programmatically detect those markers visually, if that makes sense. It does make sense, and I'm noting that because that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So I think the context where I saw that was someone was recording tutorials, and then they'd do like multiple takes, and every time they fucked up, they'd like hit a button and the screen would flash red, and they'd know to like throw that take out. And then if they did another take of like them programming and it was good, they'll hit the button at the end and the screen would flash green, like a big green box on the screen. And then they had a Python script that just went through the video, sliced it on those flashes, and everything that ended with a red, it would throw out the beginning, the before part, and everything after the green, they would keep. And it just made a video of all the good cuts of that. So that wasn't live, but it was like almost like in a movie when they're like, all right, take 2, take 3. They were kind of doing that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah, I can see if I can dig up the guy explaining his workflow and send it over to you.
Okay. Yeah, like one of the things I'm starting to realize is that when it comes to the content space, like sure there are tools, but they're not, how do I say it? They're not at the level of which I would expect as someone who's worked at a top tech company. Right, where it's just like, sure, they're okay, but it's a lot of rough edges. There's a lot of still manual and just connecting things together that I have to do that I would prefer not to have to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I mean, the more I do this, the more I realize that there's a lot of opportunity in content, and not just creating content, but with like the tools around content. Like, yeah, for real.
I think if you focus in on a niche, you could find a lot of like fans. Like if you're doing content ops for like technical videos or developer videos or programming stuff, there's such a emerging market for that. So many people want to do that. I see new people on YouTube come in like every week, and I think like having an easy way to do that would be so powerful.
Yeah. All right. My mind's thinking now. In fact, I've already started. I have my YouTube Slack bot.
Nice.
I was supposed to work on it over the past week, but I was sick. And the idea is that, I'm going to start one thing at a time. At the moment, it's just, I would like, because, hold on, I didn't even do it today. I'm supposed to share the fact that I'm streaming in my Slack, and I didn't do it. And because it's tedious and manual, I forget often. So yeah, give me a second while I do that real quick.
Yeah, I think I see so many DevOps commonalities. Like you have a playbook here, right? Like they have Ansible playbooks or whatever playbooks. Every time you start a stream, you're going through a playbook.
Yeah.
And if you could just automate parts of that, that'd be great.
Well, I mean, I'm doing that now. So like that, and that gets to what I was kind of speaking about, just starting, right? Where it's like, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do or talk about. It was just, let's just start something. And I find that if I'm consistent with something, I start to be able to add structure, like add order to things.
Yeah.
And now I'm at a point where it's like, I want to do more stuff, but I know that I can't do more stuff if I continue to have to think about all these little trivial things. I don't have the mindset for it. Other people can do that, but I'm very bad at doing the same thing. Even if there's a playbook, like in my mind, it's like, all right, if there's a playbook, why is it not automated? Right?
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this? I can do it once or twice.
Yeah.
But when you start getting to like, man, I have to do this every time, it's like, I'll check out very quickly.
I hear you. Yeah, it's very manual work. So yeah, I totally get that.
So I'm curious, are you going to start doing videos or live streaming? Because I know you said that what's the word? You updated all of your handles so that it's all the same. Like you have consistent branding. So what's going to start happening? Tell me what's going on.
I don't know. I'm converging on like, okay. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think I'm trying to, that's a feature, not a bug. I'm trying to like just start by sharing what I'm doing more. So even me being on here and talking to you about it, even me showing you the website yesterday was like kind of steps in that direction. I want to start just like documenting things I do and share it. I want to start streaming too. So I want to, part of the 20 hours thing is like, if I'm as I'm working through that building Git book, I could just do that on stream. I don't have to necessarily do it alone on, so I'm like trying to find opportunities like that to just hit the camera and hit record and start speaking into the void. That's very different for me, but I want to like lean into that a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, how can I help?
Huh?
How can I help?
Oh, can you help?
Yeah.
I mean, you're already helping. Like, you're already helping a lot.
But you're not streaming yet, though. Like, how can I get you from from where you are now to like your first stream? What do you need help with?
Okay. Well, you asking me for a YouTube handle yesterday made me like set that up. So that was one.
Okay.
That was helpful. I think I just love making excuses, especially because I'm starting. I'm just like, oh, I need this, I need that, I need this. So if you just ask me like, where's your video? That would make me be like, all right, let me get something out. I think I just need like accountability, maybe.
Maybe you should. I don't know. Maybe I can add. Let me move my thing. I can add you to our Slack, where it's like it's me and a few other folks, and the goal, or at least my vision of it is, it's kind of like recurse, right? Where it's like self-directed kind of, but you have others around you who have experiences and things that you don't have experience in, but they're also there who can like motivate you to do something or help keep you accountable or whatever. And just make it to where it's like you're not doing it by yourself. Because when I first started, it was hard, but fortunately I have a lot of practice with just doing things alone and not having anybody there to support me. But I do understand that having support makes it a lot easier for folks. So, I mean, if that's something you're interested in, I can add you and you can see how you like it. And I don't know.
I think that could work. I would love that. I'm a big believer that you're like the 5 people, the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So I feel like just by virtue of being around you and other content folks, like I would just osmosis it. And
actually, that so we actually not we I guess it's we there's a Discord channel that we have, like a server or whatever that has more folks, actual content creators. I don't consider myself a content creator yet, but like Alex is in there. Zazinski, I can't pronounce his name. He does the MacBook Pro. He does the tech reviews, like machines or whatever. Cool. Give me a second. I'm gonna share my screen. Well, first.
And then I think, again, what's also super valuable, especially early on, is just feedback. Like being able to share something with someone and just
you actually get feedback.
Just like get feedback. Like, hey, this part really resonated with me. This part's working. This part drew me in. You kind of lost me on this part. You were dragging on, or I zoned out. Like just getting those little micro opportunities to make micro adjustments, especially early on, I think is super helpful. Like, bro, you need a better thumbnail. Like sometimes you just need to hear that. Sometimes you need the support where it's like your mom, right? Like everything you do is amazing. But then sometimes you just need that like harder feedback where it's like, have you tested this? Have you, like you might want to consider changing your title, things like that.
Well, what I've been doing lately, and it's a mirror of how I am in general, which is I don't give feedback for the video that you've done. I give feedback for the video that you're going to do. Ooh, and typically, I will zero in on just one thing. It's like, okay, like this is one thing, fix it in the next one.
Yeah.
Don't worry about like trying to, because it's like
what's done is done, sort of thing. But you can change it. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like,
I think
you should celebrate what you've done.
Well, it's that, but it's something that I learned from when I used to teach, which is you can't tell that someone everything that's wrong and expect them to go and fix all those things. All it does is demotivates them. What you instead should do is focus in on just on one thing and give it time for that to kind of like settle in, where it becomes second nature, and then you introduce a new thing. And and it's a long term. It's just a long term way of thinking, I think, where it's like, no, if you're short term thinking, you're gonna be like, you need to fix this in this next one, and it's all gonna be done. I don't believe in that. I think that you should be looking at my video today versus my video next year. I want to see a bigger difference. Well, the way you do that is you iterate towards that goal, so that when you are in that next year, all the things that were hard to you are now second nature, because it wasn't just dumped all on you. And it's up to you to try to prioritize what to work on. It's just like, no, like the most important thing is just getting it out there. That's the most important thing. And I was telling this to people in the Slack. It's like, no, I don't care if your audio isn't that great. Who gives a fuck? We can hear it. It doesn't matter if your video is not like mine. Who gives a fuck? We can see you. It's like the fact that you put it out there allows others to then tell you what you should do in the future, which is something that I think a lot of people, they make this mistake of thinking that, hey, I need to do something and it has to be perfect before I put it out there. It's just like, are you dumb?
No.
Like
the most important part, a friend was telling me this, is just to show up. Just every day, just show up.
That's the most, that's half the battle. I would say even more than half the battle. Like, it's the people who show up consistently who get ahead. And it pains me that people just don't realize that. They think that it's just like, oh, these people they were born perfect They were born knowing how to speak their language perfectly. They were born knowing how to program. It's just like, no, it's an over time thing, right? Where it's like, some of us have been on Earth for 30 years. Chances are it happened over that 30 years, not as soon as we came out of mom. Like, it's like, I didn't know how to talk when I came out. Maybe you did. I don't know. It wasn't me.
That's so true. Yeah. It's such a cliche, but it's so true. Like, people don't see the behind the scenes. They just see what you produce and they're like, oh, he was just born great. But like, no, there's a whole process that went into it. And what you said before, the way you phrased it reminded me of something. I was listening to a podcast and the guy was saying, when people follow you online, they don't follow you for what you just put out. They follow you for what you're about to put out in the future.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see more of that. So that like was a mind shift for me. It's like, you want to leave your video, you want to have like, you want to exude something where someone's like, oh, I want to hear more from this guy in the future. And that it's less about what you just put out right now, but more about like your style, your vibe. Do I want to continue hearing from you in the future, or continue seeing your tweets or live streams or videos? So yeah.
I think people should pay attention to the trajectory, right? Where it's just like, you're in a direction. Is that a direction that you resonate with? If so, maybe look at it and keep up with it and see where that direction, like see where it takes you, right? Like if let's apply this to real life. You get in the car. You could be the kind of person where it's like, I'm not going to get in my car until I figure out where I'm going. Some people are like that in life. There are other people, it's more like me, where it's just like, I will get in the car and go a direction. Which direction? It doesn't matter. Chances are I'm going to come across something.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can't plan life. And man, people will probably disagree. I don't think you could plan life. When I think about where I was, like, I grew up not in this kind of position. There's no way you would have told me that I would meet and be in some of the rooms with people who I've been in the rooms with. Like, no way in hell, like, would I have just imagined
never
me.
predicted it.
Exactly. So it's just like, when people are planning, it's like you can't even imagine what success looks like because like you haven't attained it. So why would you limit yourself with a plan, right? Or it's just like,
it's almost arrogant to think you know enough to make a plan. Like, how could you even know anything? I don't know.
There's this saying that whenever you make a plan, God laughs. Where it's just like, yeah, okay. Like when you look at, and I tell this to some of my mentees actually, is like, the people who you've seen under the bridge, they didn't plan to be there.
Wow.
It's just like, we're thinking you could plan. It's like, there's so many people that plan that when they're 30, that they'll be financially free. And I don't know, how's that working out for them? Right? Where it's just like, it's not about what you plan. You should just go and experience life in general. And if you are adaptable, you might get to where that thing is, right? Where it's like, I wanted to, when I was younger, I think 16, I had dreams. My dream was to make $60,000 a year. That's what I wanted. And I was 16. And my plan at that time, a loose plan, was I wanted to retire by 40. Well, I wouldn't have imagined that I would have been in a position to retire at 27. So it's just like, it's like, that was a very, I don't know, that was probably the strongest indicator to me that, like, you know what, I cannot plan where I'm going to be at. I should just stop worrying about that. But I should instead focus on this direction. I want to ask you,
did having that in the back of your mind that you wanted to retire when you were 40 help you get to when you were 27?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because sometimes I find that having a vague plan is better, because I never have specific plans, because that's just too much premeditation and too much, it's gonna be wrong 100%. But like, if I'm like, all right, I kind of want to work towards financial freedom, or I kind of want to, then you end up making these micro decisions along the way. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I got lucky. I want to be clear. I got lucky. That's it. There's like, what happened for me? Sure, yeah, I was in the right place at the right time, and I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to take away that, yes, I did work to get to that position, but let's be real. Like, I had no idea what was going to happen. Like, when I
That's
joined
awesome,
the company, like, I wasn't thinking that. Like, I mean, I'm from Houston. We don't have companies that give equity. It's just like, I was just like, oh, this is cool. Like, I use this. It would be kind of cool to work on it. That was it. It wasn't, oh, I can go and become rich. It was not thinking that.
Wow.
That wasn't the thought. It was just like, I want to do something where I can help others and reduce the barrier to entry.
I love that.
And yeah, and even now, like, I mean, some of the people who I've met or some of the opportunities that I've gotten, it's not because I'm out there looking for it. Like, when I traveling the world and I'm meeting people, I'm not meeting them for like, oh yeah, I can make money. It's just like, what I learned is that all of the things that I wanted started to come to me when I stopped searching for it.
And it's weird when you have like a giving mentality instead of a taking mentality, you end up just getting more too. It's like a paradox. But if you're like, if you meet someone and you're like, what can I offer them or what can I give them? I heard like a VC talk about this where he was like, the most successful people he knew were the ones that were connecting you to their network and making you like, they were giving more, but somehow it just ended up like they were getting back almost as a weird byproduct.
I've noticed that in my own life, where it's just like my first instinct isn't what can someone do for me, because let's just say I grew up like I grew up in a culture where it can produce very, very strong people, but it can also produce very, very weak people. Fortunately, I had my grandpa in my life who like it's just like, I'm good without these people. I don't need them. I'm okay. It's like all my life people have come to me to help them solve their problems. So that tells me that it's like I'm okay alone. Now, I'd still take that mentality. It's like, well, my grandpa said, if you can fix something, then it is your responsibility to do it. I didn't understand that at the time, but I think I get it now, where it's just like, if you're in a position where you can do something, it is your responsibility to do something. And I'm in a position now where I can do things to help people. So of course, that's what I'm going to do, because like, it's my responsibility. Now, you could have other people tell me, oh, you don't have to do that. It's like, yeah, but that's you, and that's why you're where you're at, and I'm where I am. It's just like because you have this flawed ass mentality that you're not responsible for the humans that are next to you, because we all share the earth. At least in the last time I checked, like, I mean, like we're on this rock together. And you know, if you're poor and you can't afford to eat, I can take the short-sighted thing and say, oh, that's just your problem. But like, I can also take the realistic viewpoint, which is that's also my problem, because if you can't eat and I have food, where are you going?
We're all connected, whether we like it or not. Like, our stories intertwine. So yeah, why not help each other out? Like, it's like a net positive.
Yes, it is. And I mean, what I found is that through helping others, like, it's opened up opportunities that I don't know. I wouldn't have imagined that I would get them. And I'm not talking about opportunities as in, oh, I can go get a job. I'm talking about actual opportunities, like, you know, where people are like, oh, I want to get into a different social class. I'm talking about that.
Yes.
Where it's just like, yeah. And
the hidden career ladder, not like the default career ladder.
Yeah, like, well, it's, yes. I don't even know if I want to call it a career ladder, because it's not really a career in that sense. Like, here's an example. I had a guy. The story is, he liked my car. He had the same car as me, and I was going a high rate of speed, as I usually do on the freeway. And he was coming up, and he had his window down. He was looking and giving thumbs up. Well, cops thought we were racing.
Okay, shit.
Long story short, I'm in the back. He gets whatever. He's older. He's an older guy. We're not the same complexion. Well, I'll just say that. He's an older guy. Well, it turns out this guy he's doing well in life. Very well in life. And we ended up like, somehow we reconnected at a gym. We go to the same gym, and he's like, hell, you're that guy with the I won't say you're with the guy with the, we got pulled over together. I was like, oh yeah, I remember you. I'm like, they let you go. They didn't let me go. And he was like, I don't know, he's a really dope guy. Turns out like he does a lot of stuff here. And he's like I don't know, we now have a friendship off of that. And he's brought me into like environments that I don't think I would have been welcome to, you know, like,
Wow.
you know, here in Houston, where it's just like, it's as a result of just like being a nice kind of person. Like when I met him, I wasn't upset. I was just like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, did anything happen? Like, do you need like a lawyer? I didn't know who he was at the time, right? So I was like, do you need a lawyer? Because like my buddy who lives here, he hooked me up with his lawyer. Again, the mindset of like just helping other people. I wouldn't have had access to this person's lawyer if I wasn't like, you know, if I wasn't just, you know, hey, you hungry? Like, he doesn't need anything from me, but it's like, I'm going out to grab food. You want me to grab you something? Just little stuff like that. And it turns into, oh yeah, when this happens, here's my lawyer. And he's like, I usually charge a lot of money for this, but it's like, because you're coming in through him, I will like 50% off.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, oh, okay. And
All right.
and it's just like all these little, it adds up, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're just out here and you're helping other people, you never know, like, when you may be in a situation and someone may remember that. I don't know if they will, but like they may. And chances are, if you've helped more people in your life, you've increased the probability of someone giving a shit about you when you need something. Versus if you're just worried about yourself. You should hit that
button on your stream deck and make that a short.
I will do that. I'll be like helping people.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I love that.
I still don't know how this marker thing works though. Like, real talk, I'm gonna have to figure that out. But that's honestly what my YouTube channel is, I guess, which is, it's literally figuring it out. Like, that's what I put on there.
That's great.
You know.
Let me ask you, because you were generous enough to ask me. Is there any way I can help you?
Just, this is helping me, to be honest. Just talking to people. Like, This is what I enjoy. Like, the way I get my energy, and I guess it's just talking to other people, right? Like, other people have problems. Sometimes those problems are interesting to me, and I just want to do something about it. Turns out, a lot of the problems that they have, I may not have much experience with, but by wanting to solve it, I can then go and learn a whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't have learned otherwise, and I've gained a new skill. So in my mind, it's like, it helps me. Like, you know, if you solve all these different types of problems, you only become more dangerous in the future, because, you know, like, you have all these different classes of problems you've solved. So when you have a new problem, you get to, you know, draw from all these different perspectives that you've acquired.
You're vicariously building up your experience. Like, if you see someone else go through a problem and you're there with them, you're kind of like, it's kind of your problem too in a way, and you're learning. You've outsourced getting experience almost. So it's, yeah, I like that. But yeah, if there's any other thing you think of, let me know too. I'm also happy to.
Well, we need to get your stream up. That's what we need to do. What software are you going to use? Do you have any ideas?
Ooh, specific questions. Now I can't avoid it. Okay. So you have piqued my interest with Ecamm. I know you said it streams at a high resolution. That was one of the perks for it.
Well, there are a lot of perks, to be honest.
Okay. But it's just pricey. I think I remember that part.
It can be if you want to record 4K, which you don't have to. It can be. It's $384 a year. If you're okay with just recording it like 1440 or 1080 or whatever, it's like 16. And yeah, so for me, like, I don't stream in 4K, but unfortunately, their product is built such that the stream and the record are the same. They're locked together. So let's say, for instance, I never streamed in my life. If I wanted to record 4K, I had to pay the $384 a year. Even though, like, you know, I'm not streaming, but I do understand why they're charging that. It's the way that they're bundling certain features. And to be fair, we're using one of those features, this interview thing right here. This is one of those things where I can have up to 4 or 5 guests in a single stream like this, and, like, you know, we can all talk, and the video quality is really nice, and I get 20 hours of that a month. So if you look at it that way, it's not so bad. And I was looking at an alternative, something called Ping GG. It's that thing about Theo.
by Theo Brown, right?
Yeah. And if I would have used the same thing, like if I was using his tool for this, I would be paying more money than I pay for Ecamm, and I get less. Yeah. So yeah, it's expensive, but you know, it's the cost of doing business, I suppose. Write it off. It's a tax write-off.
Yeah, you're getting value out of it. So
I'm getting a lot of value out of it. Like and now I don't know if I would be able to switch because I've done, like, there's so much custom things here now, and it's now integrated into my workflow. And I mean, with this marker stuff, if this starts to work, and like, it's only going to be tighter, like tighter in the workflow. So whatever tool you pick, just keep that in mind, right? It's like, if you continue going forward and continue adding things on top of what you have, it's going to be harder to switch. So I think it's important that you figure out what tool you want. You can use OBS, it's free, but you know, like, there's a lot of effort that you may have to put into certain things that, you know, I don't have to put an effort into because I'm using Ecamm.
And you're doing scenes with Ecamm too, like when you're going live and I see the loading screen, that's Ecamm?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, okay. Honestly, everything you see is Ecamm.
Is that an interchangeable format? Like the scenes for Ecamm, do they also work with OBS, or is it a proprietary?
All right, no, the scenes are like, no, it's Ecamm specific, but I don't even think there's like a file per scene. It's just actually, you know what? How about this? We can turn this into a tech thing, right? Let's see, because I don't know, and we can find out. So I'm gonna share my screen with the stream. I think you've seen my screen the whole time. All right.
I think with OBS you can create scenes with like HTML and JavaScript, which was kind of appealing to me as a front end person, because I was like, oh my god, I can make my own stuff. But maybe you could also do that with Ecamm.
You can do embeds. You can embed things, like web stuff in here. But the video stuff, like, not HTML. No.
Okay.
But I would also argue of, like, if you were to do the whole, I want to do this in HTML and JavaScript route, remember your problem that you're trying to solve is you want to stream.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's just another thing getting in your way of that.
It's yak shaving galore.
Give me a moment while I I don't even know where things are on this computer. Is it an iCloud probably? Is there Ecamm? Yeah, there is an Ecamm. Okay. So let me copy one of these. We'll take this one.
Another thing I wanted to do was like small podcasts. So like they're more like monologues, more pre-scripted.
I like what Adam Ragusa does. He does that.
Does
he?
Do
you know him? He's shit.
Is he the cooking guy?
Yeah, he's the cooking guy. Yeah. He has a podcast. I love that guy. I think he used to be a lecturer. Like,
yeah, he has he has a good voice and a good presence. So his videos I think are a little long, like the Q&As, but I was gonna do like maybe 5 3-minute shorts or 5-minute shorts, me just talking about a topic, like we were talking about yesterday about like the philosophy of I don't know, developer versus engineer or something like that. And that would just also be another way for me to just get in the habit of talking and creating content.
Yeah, getting in the habit, I think that's the key, like building that habit. And once you build a habit and I don't know, and you take pride in it, I think you start to necessarily want to improve, and you start to take on more and more stuff.
And you have this whole body of work that you've built up that's just so nice. Like, so many of my ideas and thoughts just get lost in time because I'll have this genius idea and I won't do anything with it. And
do you at least write it down?
What's up?
Do you at least write it down?
I sometimes do. I've developed that habit now where I do write it down. But now my notes are just like hard to consume. They're not engaging, right? If I can make content for myself that's engaging, I'm more likely to click on it and listen to it and revisit it.
What if I told you that the only way you're going to make content that's engaging to yourself is by first making content? You're not going to be engaging to yourself initially, but
no, it's going to suck. Yeah. You got to start somewhere, 100%. Mm-hmm. And my notes have gotten more engaging. That's really interesting too. Just my writing notes. I now write for the future me and I want to grab his attention. If something's really important, I'm like, future me is going to have 100 things on his mind. He's competing with YouTube and other stuff. how do I like title this note so he's gonna click on it and read it and come and understand the importance of what's in this note. So I'll like, it's really shaped how I write and how I communicate.
That's one area where I've had issues. Well, like trying to make things interesting. That's one thing that I have an issue with, and it's hard. I don't know. Like it's hard to try to capture someone's attention via a thumbnail or a title for me, because I guess I don't know. It may be a reflection of me, where it's like, if you were to just see me on the street, you wouldn't look like you wouldn't think of all of the things that like I may have done or accomplished. Like even if you were to meet me in person, like I'm pretty reserved. I don't really, I'll be in my own little corner, in my own little world. And it's like most people would never know, but it's like once they start to talk to me, they're like, wait, what? Like you're kind of interested. It's like, but it's always layers where it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't just tell people that I may know a little bit more than I may lead people to know. Like for instance, I've had 3 careers. I'm 34 and I've had 3 separate careers, all in my opinion successful. And successful meaning I made money. Like with music, I made money enough to pay for half of my college education. Like I used to be a YouTuber actually. I used to be on the YouTube Partner Network. I used to get paid money every month from YouTube when I was in college.
Oh wow.
And then I stopped. Some other things happened. I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go do something else.
Okay.
And like I've done software and all the different.
I mean, I like that about you, that there's layers to you, right? Like as you peel back, you get to know more and more of you and your history and your past, and there's so much there. That's awesome too. But I think you should, like you said, be proud of your work and what you've done, and I think you are. But give access points to other people, like on-ramps for them to get to know you better. You can kind of think of it like that. Like, how do I get to know more about your partner network past? Like if you maybe had a video where you were talking about it or something, and maybe you have this, but like, if for me to get to know you, and if you want to put content out there, you need a way for someone to have the opportunity to spend time watching a video to get to know you. And you don't have to be like all clickbaity about it or like have a thumbnail where like, be completely sell your soul in the process.
I had to do AI for that. I'm like, I will never do that. Like my ancestors it would be a disgrace to my ancestors if I did that.
You would what?
It would be a disgrace to my ancestors if I did that. I'm being
the thing
real,
is like it does freaking work, which is annoying, but there's other ways to have success. I don't think you have to just follow that playbook. But yeah. And people like get fatigued of the same style, So like
yeah, I'm noticing that like if you look on YouTube now, it almost feels like it's not the YouTube that I started with, where like I don't know, it's just how do I say it? I'm trying to say it without being disrespectful. I'll just say all of the content is the same. It feels the same. It feels cookie cutter. It's almost like TV and movies these days, where it's just like, it's like you really don't have to watch it to know what's going to happen. Yeah. Like it's kind of like, it's going to be not a true opinion, because apparently we can't express true opinions anymore, unfortunately, in our society.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You have to go like underground almost to find this stuff again. I feel like things go in a cycle where the underground becomes a mainstream, and then it kind of loses a little bit of what made it the underground, but then there's a new underground that comes up.
Well, I think what you're saying, it becomes mainstream. Like the underground stuff at a certain point, it's almost like music. At a certain point, it becomes pop.
Yes.
And like by definition, like it has to, right? It's like now that's the thing. So yeah, it's now mainstream, and I guess it becomes old hat, I guess.
Yeah. It's like the cycle of life. So it annoyed me a lot, but now I'm just like, of course it's going to happen. Like that's just how it happens. So yeah, like with YouTube too, YouTube, like you'll see different fashions and trends like come into vogue and go out. Like even on freaking TikTok, like that trend now of like the game playing while someone's talking, and like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like that Subway Surfer game?
I see that, and it's an auto skip, and I know why they do it. It's because Okay.
It works. It makes you just like something in our psychology just makes us like freeze and like look at that and get absorbed. And at the same time they're talking. And the talking by itself wouldn't get the engagement. But that game, seeing someone play a game like in that way just kind of makes you stay around. So I feel like people discover.
I think you're right. And that's why you have to have the control, like that. And if you know that,
once you catch on to it, you know what game's being played on you, and then you can kind of like have that self-awareness to walk away from it. But initially it just freaking grabs you.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, why is this game here? Like, that was my first question. I'm like, why the fuck is this game here? Like, these people are talking. And then after a while, I started to realize that it's like, well, people have really poor attention spans.
Yeah.
And I look at that as an advantage for me. That's how I understand we're all in competition, like in the world. Like, at the end of the day, it's like we're all in competition with one another. There's finite resources. And it's like my mindset is like, if you're going to remove yourself from the competition so you can go look at a game, okay, these other people who aren't going to do that, we're going to go and do this, and we're going to help each other get to where we're trying to go. And it's kind of unfortunate. It's almost like a breakdown of our society, where it's like you can't have someone's attention for more than a few seconds. Like, for me, a person who reads books, I just don't understand that. Because I can read a book and I'm not thinking about, I need to have a game plan in the background for me to read this book. Or if I've been listening to podcasts since 2006. I'm not new to this, right? So it's like podcasts 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't need video games to be able to follow this conversation and like get value out of it. Or when I was in college in my 2.5-3 hour lectures, there wasn't a video game playing. So it's just like, it's, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say. It's part of what I'm thinking about doing for my videos, at least not for live streams, for videos, is talking about this cultural phenomenon that's happening, where it's almost like the atomization of our culture and our society. And like, I don't think it's going to result in a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's just, when you start to break down the fundamental structures of society and you're replacing it with what? Something that is new, that I don't know how you explain it. I won't get into it. I don't want to get into it too much.
No, I hear you. There's a lot that probably needs to be said there. But yeah, point being is like content is always changing, and it feels like a lot of work at times to like keep up with it and play the games and like do all the things, where I want to have it just be fun for me initially, and then I can worry about that kind of stuff if I want to go there. But initially I just want it to be fun, meaningful for me, and at least give myself some value from it.
Well, what do you do for fun in general?
I like learning things. I like moving around. I got really into like fitness and working out and stretching recently. I'm like trying to do a handstand. I've been training for that for a while.
What if that's your content?
I'm at like 8 to 9 seconds. I'm trying to go for like 15.
What if that's your content?
Yeah. I almost thought of like something where I mixed the two. So it's like, let's say on Twitch, like I'm programming, and every time I had a compiler error or something, I got to go do like push-ups or a handstand or something. Or like the audience does something and then I have to, like, I don't know. That could be like a novelty kind of fun thing, but I was just brainstorming different. It sounds exhausting to me too. I don't want to do that, but.
Well, all right. I'm gonna key in on that. It sounds exhausting to you. Have you done it?
No.
Okay. How about you do it and see if it's exhausting, and even if it is, keep doing it. Maybe that's a sign that if you keep doing it, it will stop being exhausting. Right? Like if that's your goal, right? If you're trying to become physically superior, well, the way you do that is you do it to exhaustion, and then you do it again until exhaustion, and you keep doing it until exhaustion. Eventually, your exhaust level is increasing, and then people be like, "Man, this guy can do like freaking handstand for 2 minutes. How can he do that?" It's like, well, there was a point in my life when I could do it for 4 seconds, and then it went to 5.
Yeah.
And 3 years later, here we are.
That's insane. Imagine like doing a handstand while coding. That's some next level shit. That would maybe go viral. I don't know.
Well, it depends on what you're coding. These days, like I'm not really convinced that coding is what it used to be, especially now that we have the AI era. But with that being said, I also think that we can accomplish much more with the AI stuff. So like maybe, you know, you that's what I'm thinking about doing. Like I'm trying to use AI for more stuff.
Yeah.
It's harder for me, and it sounds weird to say, but because I'm an engineer, sometimes I just want to solve the problem. Basically, sometimes I just want to solve the problem because I want to solve the problem, and it's just like,
yeah.
But I'm starting to get better about understanding that how I solve the problem, like it could be, I can solve the problem in multiple ways, right? Like I can do it myself, I can have someone else do it, I can use AI, like partner with AI. Like there are all these different ways that I can solve the problem. What do I care more about? How the problem is solved or that the problem gets solved?
Yes.
And I'm starting to build awareness that I've been focused a lot on how the problem is solved.
That's the engineering trap. Sometimes we get too seduced by the beauty of our solutions. It doesn't matter. It's just ship the thing, deliver value, and like move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
it's not just the engineer though. It's sometimes music people as well.
Artist types, yeah.
Where it's just like it's the process.
Yeah,
like it's the journey.
Artists tend to over-identify with the process. They're like, yeah, it's like a reflection of you. You put too much ego into it.
Well, can you?
It can be a good thing. It can
though?
produce great works.
Can you blame it? Like when you think about it, like right, like when you're creating something. At least the reason why I do it, it's this journey of nothing existed and then something exists. Oftentimes, the thing once I produce the result, I mean, okay, if the result were important to me, I would be done. I would be satisfied. But for some reason, when I produce that result, and I'm sure you're gonna do the same thing, you've changed your audio settings, and you said that you're okay with how it sounds. But I'm willing to put money that you're probably gonna go back and you're gonna keep tweaking it. You're gonna be like, oh, like I can do this, and it's just like you've got a result, but that's not good enough. So maybe it's not the result that you're after. Maybe it is the process, the journey, right? And I'm sorry, I've recognized that in myself, where it's like I care more about the journey than the destination. So
the journey is very important too. Yes.
Yeah.
Like So I'm not knocking on that. I'm just saying sometimes we can find ourselves too drawn to one or the other, and there's value in both. So I think for me, sometimes I'll over-identify with the process too much. I'm in that phase of my life where now I'm trying to be like more of an entrepreneurial, like just ship it, execute. And I think I need that balance so I can be more rounded.
Well, that's actually something you can help me with. Just being able to ship it, right?
Okay.
Right.
What would you like to ship?
Well, this Slack thing, just the initial one, the initial thing, which is just like post a video into a Slack channel.
Post a video into a Slack channel. Okay. So can you describe to me the workflow there? So this is when you're going live, right? That's what you were saying?
So when I go live, I want a link to be posted to not the stream on YouTube, but the stream managers on YouTube and Twitch and my Slack.
Okay.
That's it. And the reason why that's it now is because like I've already done the exercise of like I wanted this whole big ass thing, and now I'm like, okay, all right, where can I start? What's the easiest thing to get from zero to some new destination that's non-zero? And yes. I've identified that as I can
it's
just
still
post
providing
something.
you value.
Exactly.
Like I'm glad you honed in on that because you found the nugget there. That's the smallest thing you could do that's actually making your life better. What's left?
I need to code the thing, and I was planning to use ChatGPT to do that. So I've created the application. I need to do the authentication with what do you call that thing? YouTube. So I had to go into the Google Cloud Manager to get like authentication so I can access the YouTube API.
Yeah, I did that once. It wasn't too bad. It was like I thought it was gonna be a more annoying process, but it wasn't too bad.
Okay. The other thing that I need to do is I have to deploy something. Like I need to deploy code on a server somewhere, right? And initially I was like, okay, well, what should I use a new language so I can learn a new language in the process? I decided no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use JavaScript. And then I was like, well, I don't want to even have to deal with a server, so I decided to use Next. And right now I got
this is a web UI, or is it like a webhook process running?
I think it'll be a webhook process type of thing, where when something happens, I think I can register for the webhook event on the YouTube site and have it send me an event to my service. And
can we draw an Excalibur?
Sure.
I just want to visualize all the pieces.
Okay. And that honestly, that's something that, because like I suck at visualizing things, so that's something that'll be helpful for me.
Yeah.
Let me do a share like this. Oh, I renamed the document we created yesterday. Okay. Just so it wouldn't be untitled. So I know that we said that you should use that in your notes, and I'm happy to keep working on that too. Why does Arc not open? Like, what the hell? I click the thing and it doesn't do the things. No wonder I minimized it like a dumbass. Okay. Here we are. So then we will go to Excalibur, but we got to go to Plus. I don't know why. Like, is there a separate domain that they have for that? For Excalibur Plus, so we can actually collab on something.
I don't know too much about the Plus.
All right, so this is going to be the YouTube Slack bot.
Yeah.
And I thought you used Plus.
No.
Huh.
Never had Plus.
I can. It depends. Like, I have to see like if it's like by seat or if it's like I can just add up to a certain amount of people. Typically, if there's a service that I have where I can add a certain amount of people, anyone who has a Code and Color IO email address, they can use it. And
cool.
It's just because, like, for me, it makes it worth it. Like, because I know I'm not going to use it all the time. So I'm like, so long as someone's using it, I'm okay with paying for it.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the Plus, but that's generous of you.
My bad.
Let's see.
How do I send this to you? Should I send this in Zoom, or do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, Zoom works.
Okay. Oh, chat. Here we are.
Oh, cool. Plus gives you versioning. Oh, versioning soon. Not yet. List of drawings automatically sync to server.
Well, yes, you get sync drawings. You can do more than one, and the collaboration I think is the biggest one.
Got it. Oh yeah, that's huge. Okay. Cool. All right. Oh, ready to join scene Code and Color. Okay. Cool. I'm in. Okay.
So then, all right, you'll have to lead me on this because like I'm really bad at planning.
Yeah. No worries.
Like
okay.
that's where I lack, is the ability to plan stuff.
Yeah, so let's just start with the big players. So we got Slack. We know we're gonna use Slack somehow. And we got YouTube. We know you're gonna use YouTube somehow. And then now we can kind of build the relationships here. So let's also just throw in, because we like to be user-centered here. How do I insert symbols? I thought there was like a way to insert.
Oh, if you click on, can you see my screen? This arrow here.
Yeah.
On the right, you click that, and I have a bunch of them that are.
Browse libraries.
Like, yeah, I think you should be able to just drag it.
Oh, I think I have to. Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Oh, you don't have access to this library?
I don't. I think I have to add it. Maybe it's not at a board level. It's at a user level.
Oh, that sucks. All right. Okay. All right. Maybe that's feedback that they need, because it's like if I invite someone to my space, they should have access to the things that are in my space.
The same things. Yeah, that would be. I think that's worth it.
Well, you should.
The guy who makes this is very cool. Like, he used to work at Meta.
Oh, do you know? Like, we should chat with him.
I don't know him like super tight, but I know of him, and he's like a big front end. Like, I think he's the guy who made Prettier. If you've ever used Prettier.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been using this for like, well, like not in depth, but like I've been using this for like years. Back when, even when I was at GitHub, like I discovered it then, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a really cool tool.
Okay.
But yeah, like if you can, we should reach out to him and like, you know, talk to him about stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I might do that.
But what assets do you want? I can drag it if like, just tell me what you want and I can search for it.
This is a great start. So I think we have a person and we know they're going to be using Slack somehow. So I'll just draw these arrows and now we can say what's happening here. So like, let's say this is you, right? You're the user for this, and at least, Will.
Oh, well, okay. Well, if we're going to do that, we need to add one more thing. We should add Ecamm.
Are you going to pimp yourself out with a nice hat?
Nah, Ecamm.
Oh, Ecamm. Okay.
Yeah. So like that's going to be the input or the trigger to everything, because everything is triggered from Ecamm. So let me describe the workflow, I guess. So I start a new stream from Ecamm. Ecamm is then going to start the streams on Twitch and YouTube. We'll ignore Twitch for now. It'll start the streams there. And then YouTube should send an event, or like, I don't know, there should be some type of event from YouTube that's saying stream started with some information or whatever. And I want that event to be sent to my service. I'm gonna just call it service, and maybe you'll see why I suck at this type of thing. I'm all over the place. So it's like YouTube will send an event to the service, and the service will then process that event and then send a message via Slack using the Slack API or SDK.
Okay. So you start the stream on Ecamm. Automatically Ecamm triggers like the YouTube stream, and YouTube stream begins. Then YouTube notifies a service that you have, and that service, what does it do with Slack?
It posts a message.
A message?
Slack. Yeah.
Okay, and who's using this? I'm just curious, just to round this out, human to human.
Me. I'm always my own user most of the time. So this is solving mostly my problem, but the other part is there are other folks in the Slack channel, and like it's just as a transparency thing, just like, hey, I'm doing this. Like,
and what value are you getting out of I guess you just get easier access to the link?
For now. In the future, I want to be able to easily go back and edit the stream, not the stream, the VOD description. Like, because I like to go like what was discussed, what did I accomplish, that kind of stuff. The other thing is to add it to the right playlist. I have playlists, and to add tags to the video, as well as now in the future, now that I'm going to start to try to cross promote. I also want the link to the video itself, not just the stream manager, but to the video itself after the video's done, so that I can then post it to Twitter, LinkedIn, Threads, that kind of stuff. But I don't want to do that manually. I want that to eventually just happen automatically. So but that's down the road, right?
Okay. Now I'm starting to understand the whole value chain here. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. This is helping. Now I'm seeing the big picture. So from your point of view, you just hit a button and bloop. At some point later, you get a link that you can go and you can fill in all this data.
Right.
And then in the future, obviously this could be built out, or some of it could be automated, or you have markers and whatever, but let's not worry about that now. Okay, so next steps now are...
Can I show you why I want to do that though? Like why?
Yeah.
All right, so when the stream ends, the only way that I can go back and figure out and find the stream is I have to come here and I go to YouTube. I come into my YouTube studio, and then I had to go into content, and then I had to go into live. I had to find the one. This is the stream manager, by the way. If I click this is the stream. Oh, maybe no, I shouldn't show that. My bad. I can show this, this is the description stuff, which is what I would want to change after the stream's ended. But while the stream's going, I want to see my stream manager, which has other information about the stream, health, and other things. And in order to get this link, I had to click on here, and then now it has a link. So that's a lot of stuff that I had to do just to like get a link and to go and be able to edit. I want to condense all of that to just, I'm already in Slack. Just click on the button and it takes me here.
Okay.
Like that's it. That's why I want this so bad. Is that like what you just saw me do, I don't want to have to do it. Now you're right. I could probably, I know you didn't say this, but you may be thinking it. I have a bookmark. I do have a bookmark, but even with the bookmark, I still had to do all of the things once I get into the YouTube studio, which is here. So if I go here, I still have to come into content. I still have to come into the live and find the thing. And certain days I do more than one, right? Sometimes
so I've never streamed before. Can you just explain to me why you have to come in here? Is the idea that when you record a live, after the live is done, it like keeps it in a backlog and then you have to publish it manually?
No, so mine automatically get published. But
okay.
let's look. All right, so for instance, here's what typically happens for my live stream. They start off as a shrug. Not very useful to someone who's like looking at this video. It's like, what the hell is this? Why should I click on this? Yeah. But you'll see here that these other ones, like here, it's this. I actually go in and it's like, what did I talk about? Well, it turns out that, you know, sometimes I have notes in craft, which this is another piece of it, but it's later. I keep my devlog notes in craft. So when the video is done, normally I go through my notes and I read what I've done and I come up with something nice to say and I put it here. I put all of the like hashtags. If we go to show more, typically I have tags, but I didn't do it on here. Okay. And it's like, I want to have an easier way of just getting to this. But eventually I want to have like all this just done, like automated. I don't want to have to type any of this. So I'm already talking about what I'm doing in my stream in craft. So part of it, like, so I had to come into here just to give information about the video for people who are going to look at it on VOD. Okay. So I hope that gives a little bit of color. So you see here, it's a shrug at the moment. That's my default description. Not very descriptive of what we're talking about.
I got you.
So for instance, if I leave this here, they don't know that we've had this dope conversation.
Yeah, I think adding a title, adding the description helps so much. I know you have to pick a thumbnail too.
Well,
and then in the future, if you add like markers in, like chapters, like places you could jump to in the video, where that would be also great, I think, from a usability point of view. But yeah, description and title alone, I think, is huge. So, okay, now I'm getting the picture, because I was gonna ask that in Excalibur, like I was gonna draw an arrow from you to YouTube, and I was like, why can't that just happen? But now I'm seeing a little bit of the value that this piece will start to bring out. One, it just makes clicking on the link easier, and I guess the logic for that would be it would find like the most recent video in your queue and then surface that, or like any new queue.
I don't think it would do that, because the videos, like each message is its own separate message. So the other benefit of this is, because I use like Slack to also go back in history. I can do this Command F, and like, let's say for instance, I'm talking to someone about, oh, I was doing this thing, I did the stream on this thing. What if I can just type in like just kind of like some of the things that I may be thinking of, like, oh, maybe I talked about building a Node app or something, I don't know, some ridiculous. Well, I would be able to find that stream here inside of my Slack.
How would you be able to search Node and get that?
Well, because I would include that in my description. So right now, I'm saying I just want a link to be able to enter my description on YouTube. But the ultimate goal is I don't want to go to YouTube.
Okay, at all. You just want to do everything from here.
I want YouTube. Yeah, so I want everything here. I'll pull up.
And but then how would the data entry part look? Like, where would you type in the description?
Here. I would prefer it to be AI generated based off of my the devlog notes. Give me a second. Let me find a devlog right quick. Devlog. Okay, here's an example of devlog. So typically before I start these logs, typically I haven't been doing it this week, but what I will typically do is I'll have at the beginning, I'll come up with things that I want to accomplish for this particular stream. I'll list them all here. I'm not going to accomplish all the things. Typically I don't, but I will mark off what I accomplished. Now this exists already, and it's named like it's literally named the same. So if I name a stream Devlog 2023-03-18, to me it makes sense that if I have something named that in Craft, eventually, you know, I can go and fetch that data, and that's all of the things that I talked about in my stream. So it's like it's already here.
Oh,
and,
so Craft has an API too that you can kind of use?
Yeah. Think of it as it's like Notion. And here, check this out. So like, let's say assistant, we can say summarize as a YouTube video description. So it took whatever that is and it produces this, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want, essentially. I want to not have to think or work. I just want to be able to like type in my notes, do my things, and then have it generate this. I'm going to add some more color to this because I mean, I haven't written this down, which is why I'm rambling, but I can also use OpenAI's Whisper Sync to take in my, yes. So all of my videos, and this is another reason why I like Ecamm, I have separate audio tracks. So what I can do is I can feed this into OpenAI and get a transcript. So I can do subtitles. You can add subtitles to YouTube. I want to do that. But in addition to that, I can also get like, what did I actually talk about in the video? And I can marry that with these notes and have a better description. And maybe I can have it generate a TOC. Yeah, does that make sense? I know it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I see the different possibilities here for sure. And I see, but yeah, I think we have to figure out what part of it to focus on initially, and that will give you the most value and make this like helpful for you. Oh, actually, I guess Ecamm has the audio file that.
Yeah, I would have to build some type of infrastructure to basically take that audio and like have it get processed automatically, like some type of workflow maybe.
Yeah. So I think we just have to be willing to accept that initially there will be some manual parts.
Oh yeah, I am fully okay with that. Like I'm very much iterate to that. I'm thinking this is going to be like a 1 to 2 year type of thing.
Yeah, and I think initially we can start with just the YouTube link coming up for you, so you can click on it. It'll take you right to the page, and then you can edit and you can put your stuff in, and then we can kind of do like the Craft notes integration. These can be like in the future. Let me just like shade it out a little bit so it's like maybe wish list kind of things. Okay, so now that we have our MVP, the MVP is just you hit start on Ecamm, and when that new video is generated, the URL just gets pasted into Slack, and then you can click through. We'll worry about the actual data part later, but does that sound about right as like the MVP?
Yeah. Just put the link in there, because I have this philosophy that the hardest thing is the stuff at the beginning. Like it's just getting the connection and all that. Once you get all that done, like it's iteration at that point, and you can start to. It's easier. So yeah.
100%. So I guess the let me just. I guess the next steps are. Oh, I should put some padding here. Okay. We need to. Do you have this number 2 arrow set up already? This already works, right? You hit start stream on Ecamm and it just goes to YouTube.
Well, that part is outside of me. I don't do that. Ecamm does that. So yeah.
But it's done, right? Like. Yeah. You don't have to do anything there?
Yeah, I don't have to do anything here. So I guess where I'm going to start is I'm going to draw like here. Oh wait, no. I'm going to start here.
Yes. So you need to get an API key with YouTube, right? Then you need to have a hosted service. So I'm going to challenge you and say you don't need Next.js for this, because you don't have a UI here. You just need a very simple API.
Oh, you're right. I'm not using Next.js for that, and I can actually show you. I can show you. I have this. It's technically deployed. You want to see it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Here, give me a second. Is it YouTube? No, GitHub. Yeah, we go to GitHub. Code and color. I think I did this because this is an official project. Yeah, here we are, Slackbot. All right, so here's my edge function. I'm using an edge function.
Yes, that's like a basic API.
Yeah, that's really all that's what I'm using Next.js for. It handles like auth security, like all of that, and it's an easy deployment target or target. So like that's the only reason I'm using. I'm not using it for anything else. And you can preview it. So like I can send you this and you can see what it does right now. It doesn't do anything, but it just responds back with it works or something like that.
Okay, cool. So you have the edge function set up and deployed. Now you just need to integrate edge function with Slack API. So I don't know too much about the Slack API. I don't know if you have to use a bot, register a bot, or I'm sure you need some sort of secret key.
You do. So you create an app, like you create an app, and that's done. Sorry, that's done. You give it the OAuth scopes. Yeah, here I can show you that as well. Yeah, so here's the Slack bot, and it's installed in my thing. And now the part where I got stuck, but I think I figured out why it was, is that I can't use the edge function. I have to use a regular API route.
Why do you say that?
Hold on. Give me a second. I think I have something where I can show that, where it was failing or something. Oh wait, no, it's sorry. I had to open up Visual Studio Code. My bad. And the reason why I'm like, I haven't touched this since like last week before I got sick. So here's the error that I'm getting, where it's saying it can't resolve query string. And initially I couldn't figure out why, but then I was like, wait a minute, the Edge runtime is a different version. It's not just regular Node.
Oh.
So the thing that I'm doing requires regular Node. So this is starting to come back to me. I was like, what I had planned to do before I got sick was to delete this line of code here and not have it be the Edge runtime and just have it be the regular Node runtime, so that I can import this right here. It's also that I can import Slack Web API, which is the thing that's going to enable me to post a message into my Slack bot.
Got it. Was the error bubbling up from the Slack Web API?
Yeah. This is, yeah. Let me go back to that. Yeah. So yeah, this is
trace.
Yeah. It's all because of that.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Okay. Query string. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know too much about the Node Edge runtime, but
same here. I know nothing about it. I was just like, I was so confused. I was like, why isn't this working? And then like after a little bit of like, I literally came and read the error. I was like, wait a minute. I wonder if that Edge runtime has something to do with it. So this is just a hypothesis. I don't know if that's going to be the fix, but I'm like 80% sure that's going to be the fix based off of a hunch. How about that?
I think you're right. I just found the issue where someone's having the same issue.
Oh, well then, okay. Well then, yeah. So yeah, once this is already like deployed, and now it's just a matter of I need to just send a test message. That's what I was going to do. I wasn't even going to do the YouTube part yet. It's just kind of the way I work. I
like that approach.
Yeah, just see if I can get the message in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think let me send you this issue just in case it helps you later. but that's someone else like having a somewhat similar issue with Supabase. And I think what they did there was they replaced the fetch API with like a custom fetch called cross fetch, which works across different runtimes. But yeah, if you also just go off the Vercel edge runtime, that could be a solution. Or if you don't have a front end, like I think Vercel is a little overkill, but I can see this in the future. Maybe you build a front end around it too. So then I can see like value there.
I want to also I can tell you the other reason why I like Vercel. And initially I thought I could just do, because Vercel has a CLI. That was my initial thing. I was like, I don't need a UI. I'm just going to use Vercel. But it turns out that if you want to use those things, it's all built into Next. So it's like a Next project. You don't have to use the site part, but it's still like the next thing for the deployments. So let me show what I mean here. So the fact that I'm able to open this PR and then this automatically builds a preview branch that I can interact with. That's the real reason why I'm using it. Right.
But there's other services that offer that too. Like, have you heard of Render or Fly.io?
I haven't.
Like Render lets you do like even Docker containers you can deploy or web servers, and you see like number 3 there. Like when you do git push, you just get an automatic deploy, and you get, I think, URLs too, like staging previews and stuff.
It costs the same, actually.
Okay.
Like, and that's the other part. Yeah. I guess that's the other part that I should mention, that there are other, like, I'm not the only one. I pay for Vercel for more than just me.
Oh, okay.
So like there's also, and this is also like because Code and Color, it started off as just like, I won't say the real reason why I started off, but like eventually it turned into me doing consulting, and then it turned into me building the product Post Supply. And one of the things that is really important to me is that whatever tools we use, that everyone knows how to use them. So I'm a little more conservative when it comes to introducing new tools or new technologies, because it's very important that whoever's in here, like, we all know how to use it. And it's just from a team kind of thing, where it's like, you can have 50 different technologies, but then you're going to build things slower. You're going to be exposed to that bust factor a little bit more.
100%. I didn't understand that context, but the way you explained it, I would agree with you. Like if you're already using and you're invested in Vercel, you should definitely continue to use that.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like that's why I looked at the cost, because I'm like, Vercel is expensive. So I was like, maybe like if this was half the cost, I would maybe switch, but I would have to migrate like 30 projects over. I don't know.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that, but okay, that makes sense. Cool. So I think you have most of the pieces in place. Like you just need to fix that bug and then have that webhook set up. So you'll have to expose. Did you have a URL exposed in your?
Yeah. I have a URL.
File change. Can you go on the code?
Oh, the code. Okay.
I just wanted to see the node code. The JS code again.
Wait a second. I'm gonna put
it said route.ts. So you do have like a route set up.
Yeah. So it's under content uploaded, and you can actually hit this on your machine actually if you wanted to.
There's probably a URL for it, right?
Yeah, it's just going to tell you notifying in Slack as a response.
Okay. And then you just have to look up YouTube Stage Manager. Let me see webhooks. Let me see if there's like a quick API documentation there.
But yeah, like honestly, if you want to help with this, like that would be dope. I don't know where it's going, to be honest. But that's like most things that I do. It's just like, see where it goes, see what happens. It could be something useful. Right now it's useful to me. Like I think we talked about this in our RC group, where I was like, sometimes it's good to just solve your own problems, because you may realize that other people have those same problems. This is a shining example of what that is. This is just me solving my own problem. But as I start to think about it more, and as I start to like what this could be, this could actually solve other people's problems. Think about brand management companies where they have several YouTube channels that they're managing. Wouldn't it be nice to get a notification like that these videos are done, and like an easy way to go and like edit the description? Or what if you can generate a description just from the context or the content in the video, and that just is done for you, right? Like all these little small things, like they can add up into a product that will serve more than just my needs.
Right.
Like maybe it solves your needs too. Maybe it's just like you have this thing and it's like initially you're like, I don't really understand it, but then it becomes like, okay, I'm using it for this one thing, and like I really like it for this one thing. It's, I don't know, it's just, maybe it's just what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I think it's nice to be able to take these APIs and like do the plumbing to get them to talk to each other and like improve our workflows and processes. My first step right now is just even streaming. Like I want to just get to the content creator part, and then I can also probably
well, you are streaming so far. You're streaming now.
I am streaming.
You're
now.
streaming now. We'll give you some credit. I can also give you access to these videos if you want. Like if you have like certain sections that you want to pull out where you're talking, and like you can know about editing. You can just make sure that you're in the frame or whatever, another bigger person in the frame. I can do that, right? And that's another thing. Like how do you collaborate with video? It's a little more challenging than with code. And I have some workflows. They're not that mature, but they solve the problem for now. It's just not, you know. So I can make sure I get you access to these videos if you want, if you like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I might take you up on that.
All right,
but yeah, and then I'm curious if ChatGPT can like do the YouTube part. Like how can I use the YouTube?
Oh wait, should you be sharing your screen? Maybe we should be sharing your screen.
We could. My screen's a mess right now, but we could.
It don't matter. Don't worry about it. All right, go ahead. I think I stopped. Wait, did I stop sharing? No, I didn't. All right, you're good now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna move it to another desktop.
Yeah, just like how can I use the YouTube API to get access to notifications when my live video is published. Blah 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 blah. Oh, set up a pub sub topic. Okay. Set up notifications for live video ends in the YouTube account setting.
What I had to do, because I've done this before, I told it no. I basically told it was wrong, and I said no, I should be able to use webhooks, and it says sorry, and then it told me how to do it with webhooks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
No,
It's so useful to like know a little bit about the stuff, because like you'll know when it's wrong, and it'll be like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Isn't that a little bit different from the first response? Huh?
That's definitely different.
This is one of the things where it's like I see AI as being dangerous, but also like for people who don't really know anything, they'll just accept the thing and not challenge and not realize that no, it's probably wrong.
Yeah. Did you oh, this one's saying you can just do it from the YouTube channel settings notifications. Have you seen that menu?
Wait a minute. Add another new notification with details of the event you're interested in. No.
I don't know if it's like hallucinating here.
It may be.
Okay.
I don't
Because sometimes that's also a possibility. Like maybe you have the right answer, but you're like, no, use webhooks, and then it'll just hallucinate and make up a webhooks answer.
Well, the reason why I knew it could use webhooks is because I read the doc.
Okay.
Yeah, I read the doc and I was like, no, you could use webhooks.
So you do know it's for sure
possible.
possible.
You could use
Got
webhooks,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think like you're kind of close. Like you have most of the pieces in place to even get something satisfying working for you.
Oh wow, yours is white. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not in dark mode. I think I turned it off because I like I think I manually overrode it maybe.
I was just like, oh, I didn't even. So for a while, I didn't even know they had a light mode. I was like, oh, yours is different. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I have certain pieces, but like it's still like, you know, a mystery. And
What part's a mystery to you?
Well, it's because I haven't written it down. That's why I haven't taken the time to like really think and just sit and like say, all right, here are the key features I want, and here's how they're going to work, and like here are the workflows that I'm going to emulate. I just haven't done that, so it's because it's all in my head, and you'll get to know this about me. Like I think about a lot of things all at once, and it's hard for me to like.
No, I'm like that too. But this is past the V1 that we have over here, right? Like, is this part clear to you? Like what you need to do?
Yeah, that part's clear.
Just the V1.
Now, one thing that I will change, or I think should change, is the craft note integration. That would go into service, as well as the auto-generated transcript. That would also.
Yeah.
That would probably be its own service. That would then feed in to something else where I can, like, you know, yeah. And the idea is that, you know, I would take the audio from Ecamm, and I would send that to, I guess that is to auto-generate the transcript service, but that would be WhisperSync or AI Whisper or something like that.
Yeah.
And,
so one next step you could do here is to define the endpoints for your service here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have one for now. There's content uploaded.
God, I wish there was like a way to just reset the colors. Okay. I'm kind of running out of shapes. Let me make like this blue. I don't know. Make it thick and blue. Okay. So these are the endpoints. And that way you know what capabilities. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so one was what'd you call that endpoint?
Content uploaded.
Nice. Content uploaded. So that's like YouTube webhook, so we know. And then you can have a post for.
Well, that will be a post, by the way. Content uploaded is a post.
It
has to, because I had to send it the webhook event data. And so it'll be posted to the server, at least from the YouTube side. I think that's what it does. It's going to post it.
Oh, because YouTube is posting the information.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. And then you can have a post endpoint that's like transcribe audio or something. That in the body you put like binary audio data, and then behind the scenes it will like call Whisper, transcribe it, and it'll maybe set up like dump it in S3 or something, and then send a link to that in Slack so you can click on it and you see it right there. I don't know where you want to persist that.
It's currently in Dropbox.
Oh, it puts it in Dropbox.
Yeah, from my NAS.
Wait, what? What's happening? Hold on. So you from your NAS?
Yeah.
I heard Dropbox, NAS, and Whisper. So like, how are they all working together?
All right. So when I record these videos, they're recorded to a local SSD on this machine.
Okay.
And after the thing is done, I drag and drop it to my NAS, to a specific folder there. And on the NAS, and I think it's DSM, whatever the OS for the NAS is, I've installed Dropbox, and it's watching a particular folder, and anything that gets added into that, it's backed up to Dropbox. Because as you know, a NAS is like, sure, it's a backup, but like you should really have a backup somewhere else. So Dropbox is serving this at. And the reason why I use Dropbox is because I can grab a link and share it to people. So like if you want to see it, and I have a lot of space. I have like 3 terabytes. So,
and this is the audio we're talking about, right? The audio.
No, the whole. So it's a folder gets created when I do a stream.
And what's in the folder?
The video. It can, and there's an option. It could be the video, like all different video feeds. So right now I'm only doing all integrated, but I have the option to do my screen, like whatever's being shown, as well as myself, my camera, and my guest. And then you can split the audio too. So for every channel, or for like Here, let me. Sorry, I'm gonna have to do something so that you can see this. I think that's the other part, is that like I don't show everything that's going on, so I'm gonna share my entire screen, and you're gonna notice that there's more stuff happening here. So
let me unshare.
Here, I guess so maybe I'll make this a little bit smaller. All right, so we're gonna bring over Ecamm.
So the audio splitting part, is that something you're gonna have to do manually?
No,
Like
it happens automatically. It's a setting in Ecamm.
Oh, sick.
So you see all of these different devices here, and I can devices. I can get a separate audio
where am I
track.
looking? I don't see anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sharing my screen. My bad. Sorry. Give me a
There you
second. All right, where's Zoom? I really need to set up this this thing on my stream deck to do this. It's such a hassle. Okay. Do you see? Actually,
I want to have like a big red button on my desk that lights up when I'm sharing my screen. Like that'd be cool. So I know my screen's being shared. You know?
It shows up as yellow for me.
Like you get the border thing.
Yeah, I
right?
get a big yellow thing on Zoom.
Yeah.
All right. Do you see what I'm seeing now? Do you see?
No. Oh yeah. Sorry,
okay, I was like,
looking
wait.
on,
I was like, I don't know what to say now. Okay.
My bad. I was looking on Ecamm now.
Okay.
Okay.
So each one of these, it can be a separate audio track. Right. So right now I'm using this Zoom thing. This is a virtual audio device. I think we went over this when we went into audio a while ago. So this is a virtual device, but this is. I can also route in my unfiltered audio and have that basically not go into the stream, but just get recorded, so that when this ends, I have a folder. And let me show you an example of what one of those folders looks like.
But is that both of our audios combined or just your audio?
This one is all of our audio combined, the Zoom one.
Oh.
But like I would just I have another device that allows me to get them all separate.
And is that with the background music too?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because we'd want like clean audio if possible.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it seems like this is just a configuration setting you can do in Ecamm.
Right.
And the end result is after your stream is done, you will get in your Dropbox the audio MP3.
Right.
Right? Okay. So going back to Excalidraw, I'll still leave that transcribe audio endpoint, but we'll figure out a way to have either Dropbox or like a little utility daemon that's running listen on the folder, and if a new thing is added, it'll just upload it to that endpoint, the audio.
Give me a moment. Let me move stuff back over to the right screen. Sorry.
No worries.
And let's remove audio channel. And I also probably should add that like currently the way that things are, I know that I'm gonna have to change some things slightly to make this all happen, but I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly happy with that. All right, so we're back to our diagram here. Let me close this. All right. Yeah, so let's just pretend like we'll be able to get the audio into here somehow. I can give it a URL or something, and it can go and pull it from there, generate the transcription, and it should just output. I'm very general. It should output a string, and I will
output a string.
Yeah, and I'll put the string somewhere. I don't know where. I can put it in a database if I want, or maybe I'll just dump it in a file, or what. Like I have to figure out what SRT is. There's something called the SRT file.
Oh, it's like a subtitles file, I think?
Exactly. Yeah. It's for subtitles. So I got to figure out how to like get YouTube to work with that. So it's like there's things that I got to figure out, but I'm working under the assumption that this is all possible. It's all bits.
It's all doable. It's just a little tedious, but it's all doable. Nothing right now is like crazy. It's all within the realms of technology and what's possible.
But like, you know what? The fact that it's tedious, even if it is, that's good, because like I'll do it once, it'll be done. And the fact that it's tedious means that there's value. So if other people wanted to do this kind of stuff,
yeah,
here's this thing, you know?
And there's ChatGPT nowadays. Like you could have it write most of this stuff for you. Like it's just so.
Oh, here, I guess you're watching my screen here. I can show you. I can show you the conversation or the chat. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Come on, don't do that. All right, so we'll come into here. I'm pretty sure I understand. New chat, GitHub, BCDR guide. Maybe here. No. All right, maybe I lied. I thought that I could have swore that I had a chat session about this.
Can you search the chat sessions? I don't know if you can.
Nah,
that'd be nice.
No, you can't do that. Yeah, it would be nice. Maybe they should have hired me when I applied. Maybe they would have gotten.
Oh yeah. When was this?
I don't know, like a year ago.
Okay. That's before ChatGPT, no?
Yeah. So because I worked at GitHub, right? Remember, so like we were doing stuff at OpenAI when I worked there. So this company isn't new to me.
Yeah.
All right. So
I mean, Microsoft bought.
And like
OpenAI,
Codex is the thing that powers Copilot. That's what we were working on while I was there. So it's like
okay.
So I've known about them for a while, and I just wasn't in a place where I wanted to work for anyone, so I never applied. But I was like, well, you know, I do see some potential things that we can do using this, not from like using AI to do other stuff, but like just making the technology more accessible, because that's one of the things I really believe in, is reducing barriers to things. And like, you know, it's a little challenging, but I guess I don't have it, but I'll just create a new chat and we'll just start again or whatever. So I forgot, what were we trying to do?
Oh, you're showing me some conversation with ChatGPT.
When I can't show it, so I won't show it now because I don't have it, but I'll just start a new one and we can go from there.
Yeah, no worries. But I mean, I was saying you could have ChatGPT write most of these, like the code for the endpoints for you. Now that you know what the endpoints are, you can be like, hey, write me something that, given a URL or binary blob of data, outputs the transcribed audio using OpenAI's Whisper, which might not work because ChatGPT's only trained 2021 and before.
But that's okay. So I'm pretty familiar with their APIs. I've been using them for at least 3 years.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
and that's what I was like, oh, like I can use this for this. I can use that for this. And honestly, it would be dope if I can have the thumbnail generated too, based off of some base template or something. That would be dope as well.
Yeah. But we got to start small. So, but it's let's make a list of like, we could have a separate list of like, in the ideal world, what's being done for you. And this is something I think about a lot too. Is like, it'd be nice to have a thumbnail just done for me. It would be nice if subtitles was just done for me. It'd be nice if interesting parts of it were made into shorts just for me. Extract shorts material with those huge subtitles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Wait, you don't want the video, the game in there?
The what in
you
there?
You don't want to put the game in there?
Oh, like, the game,
put a random game?
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, like, sure, all this can be automated, but sometimes you can just hire a person too. Like, you can just pay
the thumbnail, yeah,
to do that stuff for you, and sometimes like that's good enough. So anything else, like a video description, tags,
tagging,
and metadata,
like hashtagging,
hashtags,
amplifying to other social channels.
Yes, let's call that promotion and distribution.
This, I don't have this yet, but I mean, this is, I may have to take a vacation to actually get this in, but I would like to have a repo that has all, like right now I'm using Craft, but like eventually I would like to have a repo where I can put my devlogs as markdown, and they would just be companion videos, or I'm talking companion like things to the video. So I would just link to the devlog
show notes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I hear them call this show notes. So like links to things you mentioned,
right,
and not notes. Yeah.
Also subtitle. Oh, you have that. Never mind.
Yeah, subtitles, thumbnail, subtitles, extraction. video description, tags and metadata. Let's also call that like SEO.
Oh, and the next one, and I do this, man, and I haven't done this for you yet, because we're streaming. But if I stream with others, what I like to do is do the first 24 hours and send the metrics, like the like how it's performing in general.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is for people who you're on the stream with. So I guess let's call that reporting.
Okay. Yeah. Have you seen YouTube analytics like yet? Have you kind of done it? Okay. So I've been looking really more into it, and like I want to increase my click-through rate, my CTR percentage. Yes. I would like for this service to also kind of like keep, like, track the metrics of videos and how they're performing, and giving me insights into like what I can do for the next video to improve things. So I'm going to share something. You're technically not supposed to share this, but I don't give a fuck. We're going to come here, and if we go to audience, I think, or content, you'll see here that my impressions are doing okay, 45,000 for the past 28 days. But here's where I'm doing very poorly. Click-through rate. If I can get that to just 10%, that means that I'm getting 4,500 views a month at just 10%, right? And then this average view duration, like that's what, like I've been paying attention to this and like figuring out what I can do. And I don't do videos yet, which is why this is low. But like with a stream, that's why I was like, I want to try to keep them to under 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that one requires a little bit more strategy thinking, like trying to understand why that number is what it is. And then coming up, you might need different forms of content that people more are likely to engage with. Another idea I had for a stream is something called reaction videos, or like dissecting why something works. So I just look at like things that are trending or things that are doing well and like breaking it down. Like, why do we think this is doing well? And we can kind of like brainstorm, have our takes on it.
You want to partner
on
that?
Hey, maybe this. What's that?
You want to partner on that? I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down. Because I think people love to see the technicals, like breaking down why something is trending or why a guy is blowing up. Like, what do we think? Why is his content trending all of a sudden, or why is this niche doing really well? And it's good for us to learn, just to dissecting what's working, so then we can apply it. And it's also good for other people because they're getting like market research, trends, updates. So I think that's a pretty valuable service.
Yeah, there's like I think you're hitting it. Like there's a lot of value or a lot of opportunity in this content space. And
you know what? The other thing I like about that is because we're talking about other people and their projects, we're also supporting them. We're creating content about them. So if we're like, hey, this guy's doing really well, let's break it down. What do we think why it's working? We're bringing in his audience too, because he or she might be likely to repost it or link to it. And that always works really well too, because you're kind of looping in these different audiences.
And that's where your description comes in, because you need to link to their stuff. And with YouTube, you can mention people in the description as well as in the title too. That's why I was asking for your handle. And I don't know if you saw that. You should have seen that you have like.
I saw it. It was like a link. I could click on it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that part is kind of important. And there's a lot of, what's the word? There's a lot of production that goes into this. And I think the bigger players, they have help. But like, let's say for instance, you're someone like me and you, it's just us, right? If you want to do more, like something's going to have to give. But if you can have some type of tool, service, or whatever that's in the background and kind of helping you, like a virtual assistant, almost a virtual producer, it would be really cool. And the other part that I didn't talk about is like, and it's because I haven't done it yet, but pre-production. So for instance, I'm going to start doing videos about culture and all that kind of stuff. That requires a lot of pre-production, like going finding research, researching blogs, videos, all these other places, and like just assembling all of this so that I can now have something to talk about and present.
Pre-production.
Yeah, and like if I'm doing all of that, like sure, this is work that I can then use to to fill in the rest of the content. Like what did I talk about? I talked about these things. Here's a link to that thing. Right, just have it done automatically instead of what I've been doing lately, which is after a stream I spend 20 to 30 minutes figuring out what I did and and like noting it down and like trying.
That sounds exhausting. Yeah.
Well, it's why I don't do a great job of it. It's because like it's just like I don't want to do it.
Yeah, even those markers help, because if you're like, oh, hey, I just mentioned something and I want to include this in the show notes later, you hit that marker button, now you got a bookmark.
Yeah.
And that's so much easier to go back in the video, jump to those spots, figure out what you were talking about, put a link in, instead of having to scrub through like a 3-hour video, trying to like rewatch it and do it. That sounds exhausting.
That's actually what I do.
Totally.
That's what I do. like after the stream, I will go over there and I will have it playing on 1.5 and I'll just have the volume up and I'll be doing stuff and listening. And if there's anything, we gotta
fix this for you. I think that is your biggest value coding benefit. If you can get bookmarks and marker support or something, more than like the Slack thing, you can go to YouTube and click on a link for now and add a description. I think that is not as high leverage as the markers will make your stream useful for you, because it makes it digestible. It makes it easy for you to index into the stream and find parts.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I want to also add that the only way you're really gonna truly learn that is by doing it. Like when you're doing it, it's just like you feel the pain, and it's like okay,
you feel the pain.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at now, where it's like, I want to do more, but I'm also aware that I'm not as organized as I should be, and now the next step is like adding structure, starting to figure out like what I need to do to take this to another level, which I'm not saying this is at a high level, but I think it could be improved by a lot. Just
100%.
Just with a little
I think just
effort.
us even talking about it and making some of these ideas concrete, getting it on paper, is so important. Like we're just making it tangible now.
I hope that this was helpful for you, mainly because like I know this is just rambling in my head, but like maybe now you kind of get where I'm like, oh, this is what I'm trying to accomplish.
This is so helpful for me because, like you were saying, your problems are very similar to my problems too. So I'm seeing a lot of value here, especially this ideal world section. It just made me realize like how much goes into making a video and like what are the different. I added one more thing here, feedback. I think that's very important too. Just getting some sort of like even Nielsen does ratings, right? Like just you want to see what people are resonating with, or whether it's like monitoring comments or seeing in the analytics where people are dropping off, or even getting like a friend to watch a video and just be like, hey, what parts popped for you? What would you like? When do you leave? I think those feedback is very important.
Well, you're making that information more accessible. So sure, you can go to the YouTube analytics dashboard and you can figure all this stuff out, but that takes effort.
Yeah.
And if you have to deduce all this,
someone could literally just tell you like, hey, this is what happened. You don't have to guess.
Right. I think that's where AI can come in, where it's just like, okay, well, if I have this thing where it's like, after 24 hours, it gives me a digest, but then like after that, maybe on a weekly or a monthly basis, I get like a summary of how videos are performing. And I'm not having to go and look every single time and like figure out what's going on. It's just like, it's just done for me. It's more likely to have an impact because I'm more likely to look at it. Sure, like I said, I can go and look at it, but let's be real. I probably won't, because the more videos you have, the more effort it takes. I'm at a point now where I have over 150 of these. Yeah. It's no way. No way I'm going and trying to like each video. You saw what it takes just to do one. Like I'm not.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I can't imagine. So I have a proposal for you. I really that dissecting what works idea. Like we take something, maybe with like half an hour each week or something. We both come with like 2 things that are doing well or trending or whatever, and then we just kind of react to it. Like you come with 2 things, I come with 2 things, and it's like, why is it doing well? Like, why is this video format doing really well? Why is this guy's account taking off? And then we just talk about it, and that's it.
What if we do just one each?
Okay.
And you have 2.
One each. Okay. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Just make the bar lower so it's more likely to be jumped over.
I like that. Yeah. One each.
Yeah. And Yeah, I'm down for that. I have a suspicion of like most of the videos that I'll share. I know why. I think I know why. There are two reasons. There are two. So let's. I post some like short type reel format on Instagram, and I've noticed that if I post things about some of the nicer things that I have, like vehicles or something, tens of thousands of views, tons of engagement. If I post something that's like, I don't know, like the last one I did, I think was a travel video where it's just Taiwan, maybe 1,000 views. And I've had enough, like I've done enough of them to realize where like that it's if I'm posting like an unboxing video of an iPhone, like the newest iPhone, thousands of views. Yeah. But if I post something on like me cooking some dish,
so there's definitely these obvious ones. It'd be really interesting if you came in with something that made no sense. Like, why is this one thing just happening to do really well? And then that's more of a challenge on us to be like, all right, let's try to break it down in this video and figure out why the heck those views might be coming from, or why
do you think
people resonating.
Should we do videos or streams? Because I have one guy who like, if maybe we should do a case study on here. Like maybe we just do like, we pick one creator.
Exactly. Yeah, it could be literally anything. It could be like a website that on Product Hunt is doing really well, or it could be like a tweet that went viral. It could be like, I'm open to any content.
Okay. All right, then I think what I can do is I can bring a creator, and like I can focus in on that creator for like a few whatever cycles, and figure out what's going on. Because there's one creator that, man, like if I can get to his level, that would be so dope. He's another black guy, but he's a lawyer.
Oh.
And he talks about divorce. Like he was a former divorce lawyer, and he has over 400,000 subs now. He only does live streams.
Oh wow.
And he has thousands of people in his live streams.
That's insane. You know, I heard about another lawyer recently who does live streams, and she's killing it.
Oh, no, not her. Okay.
And I think she was doing like celebrity trials. She was covering them, and she was giving her own take. And even YouTube was like soon like doing fair use kind of stuff, like legal action, and she was covering that. She's getting like hundreds of thousands of like live people following her on Instagram. It's like there's like a weird niche for lawyers live streaming, I think.
Well, I mean, I think with live streaming, like if you can do well in live streaming, like you can do really well. Like, yeah. But it's hard. Yeah. And like I have emulated, or I'm trying to emulate some of the things that I've seen in this guy. He goes by the lead attorney. I haven't been doing it because I haven't practiced. It's not a part of my workflow yet. But like, I have a soundboard that I haven't used once while we've been talking. Right? Like, I have that too. I got the FBI. I don't know if you'll hear it in our thing, but it's in the stream.
I hear it. Okay,
yeah, it'll be in the stream. It's the FBI knock, or the bruh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's like he uses a lot of sounds, like throughout his thing. He's always doing these sounds, and initially I didn't really understand why he was doing that, but I think we can talk more about that in this idea that you have.
Yeah, let's break it down. Yeah, let's break it down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this is good. I'm probably going to work on this today, because now my mind is back on here. I've kind of caught up on like what I haven't taken the time to like figure out where I even left off. So I'm going to work on this, and if you're still interested, I can add you as a guest for now to like a single channel in the Slack. And if you want to work more closely and just more, then I can transfer you over to like a full-on Code and Color account, and get you access to the GitHub. If you want to I don't know if you want to contribute to this. I don't know. Do you like coding?
I don't. I really don't. I don't, to be honest.
Yeah,
I really do not.
Okay.
That's why I'm hesitant for that part of it, but I'm happy to. I like doing these diagrams and walking people through ideas, and I've just. It's not that I hate coding. It's just like I've been burned out. I've just dealt with too many APIs.
You don't have to explain. When it starts to, I get it.
Yeah, when it starts to feel like plumbing too much, I just get like a little tired.
That's where I'm at. I don't enjoy it, but Yeah. The only reason I ask is because like if you don't like coding, then that makes it easier because then I don't have to pay extra money to the account.
I love solving problems. Coding to me has become like an outsourceable thing where it's like,
well, coding isn't like solving the problem though. That's the thing. Like you solve the problem before you write the code. Like at least that's how I am. Like the code is just me writing the solution. I've already solved it. Now some people, I admit, some people they solve the problem through coding, which is why they're slow as hell to do it. But it's just like if you solve the problem, like here, like figuring out what needs to happen, and then you do it. Yeah. So in my case, like I didn't write any of this down, but I had a solution in mind where it's just like, all right, I know the simplest solution is just let's get a link and my site's out. I can build up.
That's true. If it's something that's like really hitting a problem for me and solving it, then I would love coding. Like then I get really excited by it. But it's got to be like really hitting a problem. Like I had this thing where I wanted to take a YouTube video and just threw Chromecast Play on my TV, and I set up a shortcut on my computer, and I just wrote some JavaScript, and boom, I hit like a key and a video just starts playing on my. Like that kind of automation stuff excites me because it's just like didn't take that much code and it's just giving me value. And
do you have a Stream Deck?
I do have a Stream Deck, yeah.
Have you built it up yet? Like, do you?
Haven't done a single thing with it. I have the 6-key one. It's very small, but I haven't really set up anything with it.
Yeah, I just got rid of. Well, it's sitting over there. Actually, wait. 1, 2, 3. I can send you my old one if you want it. I'm probably not gonna use it.
How many? Oh, 12. I'm barely using this one.
It's like 12 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on, I'm counting. 15.
Oh, 15. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm barely using this one at the moment, but I will keep that in mind.
No, you're gonna start streaming. Remember?
Yes.
So yeah, you're gonna start using it. So how about this? So next time I don't know when you're free, but like whenever you're free, we should reconvene and let's start getting you set up with like your stream. Like let's get your Stream Deck set up, and hopefully by then you will have decided on what tool you'll use. I can help you in a limited way with OBS. I don't use it, so like there's only so much I can do. But if you end up using Ecamm, I can help you in a major way. We can get you scenes, transitions. I can show you how to get like emote wall and chat box alerts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm tempted to just do Ecamm just because your expertise is like very valuable there.
Well, decide. I think you get a free version just to see what it's like, and I use it for recording as well. And that's one of the other really cool things is that I can also record and not stream. I can use it as a virtual camera. I can use it as a virtual microphone. There's a lot of other things, but if you end up getting it, then like you will learn all of these things. You could build it.
I'm gonna add live streaming to my 20 hours thing, so that way it's like also part of that initiative. I'll spend 20 hours really diving deep into live streaming, and this will be part of it. So.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, then please do that so that like we need to get you on stream. And we'll also need to talk about videos at some point because unfortunately that's how you grow on YouTube. So I'm going to start doing more videos. So like I will start and I'll share my learnings with you.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
All right. Well then,
I hope this was helpful for you, like just drawing some of this stuff out.
Yeah, in fact, I'm probably, like I said, I'm about to use this now. And honestly, what I'm going to do is I will spend some more time to really like get thoughts written down and like, so that I can explain it to other people. Cause I like, it took a long time for you to kind of get it. And it's not you, it's mostly because I haven't put any effort into this. But I imagine if I can communicate what I'm trying to build easily and like really get at that problem that's being solved, I imagine that I can start to get interest in this as a not just a project, but like, well, when it's done.
It.
Yeah.
Being able to articulate the vision and communicate it, then you can have other people being like, oh my God, I have the same problem. Let me contribute. It's the magic of open source too.
Yes. Well, I have my excuse. It's just I haven't this is new. Like it's a new thing. Post Supply started out the same way, but like after 8 months of working on it, I knew what the hell I was doing at that point. It's like, okay, I know what the problem that I'm solving is. And I feel like it's probably gonna be the same thing with this, where it's like it's kind of abstract, But as I start to really, iterate on it, it's like, okay, I fundamentally understand the problem that I'm solving, and I can articulate it well. But it takes more than a week that I've had to toy around with the idea.
Yeah, of course. And that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm a sounding board too. So you can throw your ideas at me, and we can flesh them out, and I'll ask questions that might help you have to articulate some parts of it. And sometimes that's helpful. Like, sometimes if I'm saying like, oh, I'm just like struggling streaming, and you're like, why? That just forces me to have to answer that and like articulate the stories I'm telling myself in my head that like maybe aren't true. So yeah, just talking out loud helps a lot sometimes.
Agreed. All right, well, here's your homework. Next time we speak, you need to have done at least one stream.
Done. I will accept.
It doesn't matter how long it is. It doesn't matter. Like, you can get on and stream for fucking 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. Just do it and realize that the world won't blow up. And it's like, just start building a habit. And and I will have more to, like, I'll actually have something to show for this next time. So
okay.
Yeah.
I will accept that offer.
All right. Well, I appreciate you joining, and we will reconvene whenever you're. Just ping me as usual, and we'll hop online.
Sounds good, man. Take care, buddy.
Man.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Later.
Here we are. Gotta end my Zoom call, and we'll turn off the remote. So yeah, that was today's stream. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wait. Maybe I should look at you. You can see me. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working a little bit on this project. I'm not gonna do it on live now because I'm already at 2 hours and 51 minutes. So I'm not gonna do that here, but maybe I will, share some more stuff when I have something to show. Hopefully you enjoyed today's live stream. If you did, please consider follow me on Twitch. I think I'm Code and Color on Twitch. If you're watching this on Twitch, please consider subscribing to me on YouTube. I am Lil Shepherd on YouTube. Give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with the algorithm, for real. And if you have any questions or comments, drop it in the comments. I will try to answer them if it's something that I can answer. And if it's something that's for Pratik, I will make sure that he knows that there's a question for him. But yeah, we'll go ahead and call it a day. Peace.